Is Janet from another planet? 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 Is Janet from another planet?
Today's digital landscape with the spread of false information can lead to dangerous outcomes. It's crucial for everyone to think critically and verify sources and reflect on the impact of what they share. Let's promote responsible communication to ensure that truth prevails and actions remain rooted in reality.
The opinions you're about to hear on this show are strictly those of the panel.
The following program is rated TV MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the shit show. And I think I'm a little bit delayed. Do I look delayed? A little?
No.
My internet might be messed up. But I just want to say hello, everyone. And thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you, Ruben, for joining me again. I really appreciate it. And thank you, Chris, for wanting to join us this evening after hanging out with me last night. So
thanks for the invite.
One night was enough, you know what I mean? But I really do appreciate you guys. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on with the whole thing with the daylight savings thing. That was one of the first things I wanted to bring up tonight, because I've had people talking about that for God, I don't know how long, since I was a kid, about why we even had it. Because I've lived in so many different states, so we've had so many different times, you know, and the way it adjusted where you live. And when I lived in Arizona, you know, we didn't have it. So it is possible to live without having to turn your phone, or your clocks backward or forward or whatever. So people have done it for, you know, a long time without having to ever do that. So I don't see what the big deal is, but I do have I forgot to turn it on. Darn it. Hold on. Let me turn this on real quick. Start it. There's my poll. Do you want to make daylight saving time permanent? So there you go. I had that. I forgot about turning it on, but I have it on now. But I want to share this really quick. This whole little thing that I found. So let me get it. Sorry. Oh my goodness, I'm terrible. Okay, her name's Kelly. So it was on hers. There it is. There we go. It says the House voted 308 to 117 to make daylight saving time permanent, sending the bill to the Senate. But as we know, the Senate can't even pass the SAVE Act, so who knows? It might be another 2 or 3 years before they get to it. So that's why I wanted to have that poll, because a lot of people are talking about it. But a lot of people are ready to just say we don't need to waste our time doing it anymore. So what's you guys' opinion on it? What do you think? You think we should get rid of it or what?
Well, we've done this before in the 70s, but they're
Mhm.
doing it wrong. It should be standard time, not daylight saving time. So
I agree.
They because it gets what's going to happen during the winter time. It's going to be really, really, awful in the mornings when you get up, and it's going to be driving to work in like nighttime. It's going to be weird. So again, it's damn if you, damn if you don't. Leave it to the states to decide what they do with their own time, like Arizona and I think Hawaii does the same thing.
Yeah, I think that
they don't.
Trump said that he thinks that he should leave it to the states about what they want to do. So a lot of people in the comments, because I'm going to share this with everyone, because you can read it. All the different points of view really come from people depending on where they live. You know what I mean? Whether or not it's going to affect them, because people in Arizona in that area they don't really care because they don't have this problem. They don't do it. So that's what I'm saying. So you have standard time. It depends on where you live. Like this person says, there won't be more daylight. The daylight will stay the same. Longest daylight on the first day of summer, shortest on the first day of winter, equal on the first day of spring and autumn. The change will give adults more time to play after work and children less safety while waiting for school buses on dark street corners. So, a lot of people are very opinionated on it, and others don't seem to give a crap. So I just think it's important. I wish more people were talking about it, so the people that were voting would know what the people want. But just like I said, I think their voting is coming from wherever they're from.
But they did this in the 70s. Nixon did this in the 70s, and then they as soon as they passed the law, they changed it, and then as soon as school started, they changed it back because of what the school issue happened.
Yep.
So again, but that's what I'm saying. Nobody understands history. They don't realize we did this before in the 70s, and now it takes 50 years later for them to try it again. It doesn't work.
It happens all the time because people forget. I mean, look what happened in New York City, who their mayor is. So they forget. It just doesn't take very long, and they just move on. And it's like, I don't remember that. People just don't remember anything, and they don't tell it's like people don't tell their kids the history of what's gone on in their family, or their grandparents don't tell their kids to tell their kids, or whatever. I don't know what it is. It just, to me, it's just really,
right.
Sometimes it's just really stupid. Some of the things.
Anybody who has to travel between time zones for work knows that. UTC is really the time. All the banks operate off of it, international things and all of that. And whatever's on your watch doesn't matter. Sometimes I cross 2 time zones in one 24-hour period. I don't adjust my watch. I don't do it. The actual time on your watch has nothing to do with whether you're punctual or manage your time well. If you got to be somewhere at a certain time, just be there. So, yeah, and I don't. When Ben Franklin designed that system, they were still pulling plows with donkeys.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it was different then. Now we have all the technology and everything that the workaround is just simple. So technologically wise, I think, but I agree with what Ruben said. The danger is with if they do it at standard time, that's different, and you wanted the sun to be up when you go out to work in the winter. Right? That sun hitting your body, if you're outside working and all of that, if you got to go to work at, with 2 hours of dark and it's 20 degrees, that takes a toll on your body. So I agree.
Who's going to be over which way it goes? I mean, who's going to be, really in charge? Do you guys think that it should be with the states, because you have states will
have to implement it only. Again, they can have standard time. They can do it.
That's right, because
it follows the states. It will follow states. Even if the Senate passes it, some states will basically make a special legislation that because Arizona is not going to change.
Yeah.
you know.
But also they don't need to, because depending on where you live, just like I said, whether it's going to be darker at the wrong time for them in that state. That's what I'm saying. It's a little bit different as you go across the country. So that's why I think it's great that it'd be up to the states, because I think it should be, honestly, which way they want to go. So hopefully they'll do that. That's the smarter, I think, point of view. So we'll
Some of
see.
what could happen is some of the northern states will adopt the time zone. They'll change. Like Chicago could go eastern.
Mhm. Yeah.
just to adjust. Like what is it? Minnesota, Wisconsin, Chicago, Illinois to a certain extent, Michigan, New York, Maine could all move outside of where they are, because they have to, because it's just the way that the sun rotates. Oh, sorry, the way the tilt of the earth, the way it is, that's what happens. You get right now we're right now, we just finished having the longest days just back in middle of June 21st was the longest day. And now we're slowly approaching, we're going to have, and I know when the time changes here in Chicago by 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon, it's dark.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you doing? It's not going to be. It's not going to work.
So yeah, it's going to be interesting. That's why even though it's not really going to really change anything, because people are still going to get up, go to bed, get up and go to bed, whether it's dark or light. You know what I mean? You just shut your blinds or turn on a lamp. You know what I mean? But outside you can't do that. It's that's all totally different. So I don't know. I just think it's going to be interesting. So that's why I'd like to see. Can't wait to see how this turns out. I mean, because it's going to be something I've had my whole life.
Tom Cotton has already expressed he's not going to vote for it.
So, well, which, a lot of people think it's stupid to even worry about it. But other people say, I'm sick of fixing my clocks. And I go, it's twice a year. It's like, they go, millions of years ago, no one cared about it. And, all this kind of stuff. So there's always going to be somebody that just hates it and thinks it's stupid not to have it, and other people think it's stupid to have it, so I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But this next thing I wanted to share, I thought was interesting. I was talking about it earlier today to a few people about I was told, I think it was Chris, that you told me that this video was a response to Mandami from a reporter asking him what he thought about some person saying they wanted to kill America or whatever. What was that you were telling me?
Yeah, an imam in New York had one of their little riots. It was in front of a church or in front of a synagogue. I can't remember which one. But he was saying that everybody would be Muslim, or they would, they were going to kill him.
Yeah, basically.
And he said, we're tired of fighting. We're tired of waiting, and this is going to happen whether you like it or not. And he said all that stuff. And so this media person who saw the videos, like, what do you think of that? And he basically was agreeing with it.
Well, what I thought was interesting about it, I'm not going to play the video because I don't really care to hear what he has to say. He can say it's his people in New York, the people that voted for him. But what he has to say really isn't that important. It's just what this post said that I thought was important, that I wish more people would think about it, especially the young people that voted for this person to be their mayor. He says, Mandami says America should look into Islam and follow the example of Prophet Muhammad on migration. Okay. These same people that voted for this guy hate ICE, because ICE is taking people that came into our country illegally and sending them back to their countries. Okay, and it's not just Mexicans. Everybody says it's Mexicans, but it's not. It's South American people, but people from Russia, people from Germany. I mean, anywhere, any country they came from, and they came here illegally. They did not fill out the paperwork or whatever. They're illegals. That means they broke the law. They're still breaking the law if they're still in our country, period. It doesn't matter what country they come from, whether it's Africa, Cuba, wherever, right? Or Canada, for Christ's sake. But if you think about it, and that's what I liked about this, is if you listen to what he said about the Prophet Muhammad, okay, and he believes it because he got sworn in on the Quran, okay, you could see it live, and I played it on this the video of him being sworn in with a woman holding it wearing gloves because she's not allowed to touch the Quran. So because that's what they believe. And if you find out more about this guy, I don't think you would have voted for him, but they just wanted somebody that wasn't a conservative. They just wanted the most outrageous person they could possibly get, is what it seems like to me, these young people. But it says, after conquering Mecca, Muhammad deported all of the Christians and Jews and banned them from entering the city ever again. To this day, non-Muslims are forbidden from entering Mecca because they are considered dirty and impure. So does Mandami want to turn New York into an all Islamic state like his prophet did in Mecca? So they should be thinking about this. Okay. All you women that live there that voted for this man, want to wear a hijab? Because you can't show your ankles or any of your skin in public because it might cause men to want to ravish you. You know what I mean? So I want to play this stuff. I want people to understand where they've put themselves and how we're opening our country to being taken over by people who think you are a dog. You're worse than a dog. They can lie to you. They can do whatever they want because you are unclean. You're dirty and impure in their eyes. So I just wanted to share this because I thought it was important that you guys really think about who the mayor of New York City, the biggest, most popular city in our country, at least it used to be, for tourism, it's a beacon of freedom, is standing there holding a torch in his city. And this is now run just like England. They're letting the Muslims take over all their important jobs too. So I don't know. I don't know where this is going to lead, but I don't think it's in a good direction. At least not for me as a woman who's a Christian. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It's really scary. But I just wanted you guys to see this, and I'm going to share the link for this because there's some pretty good information down below in the comments for anyone who is interested, who wants to see this themselves. So I'm putting it on here real quick. But do you guys have anything you want to add to this interesting, this whole thing? It's very interesting, I think.
Let me tell you, the only thing that's going through my head is the story of the old lady in her garden basket. And she goes out to her garden to pick vegetables and fruits and flowers one morning, and she sees a poisonous snake that's been stomped on, and it's barely alive. So she picks the snake up and she puts it in her basket, and she takes it home and she nourishes it. And after a while, she goes to feed the snake, and the snake strikes her on the neck. And as she's dying, she asks the snake, "Why did you do that to me?" And the snake replies, "You knew I was a poisonous snake when you put me in your basket, bitch." That's what we're dealing with right now. Now, I think the reality of it is they think they're the poisonous snake that's about to strike us, but there are far too many people just with that issue, just like the issue with the voting. We all knew that something went wrong. We all knew we had foreign influence. Everything they said about Trump was about foreign influence in our elections. There's nothing new about that at all. And we just have to approach this in a way that if you're not going to assimilate, you need to leave. And Theodore Roosevelt said that in 1904. I've got his entire statement that was put in a Dallas newspaper many years ago, maybe 2002 or something. But that's all I've got to say about it.
You want to add anything, Ruben, before I go to the next subject?
No, the only thing here is the fact that New York decided to vote for this idiot, and they have to reap what they sow. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. 100%. And I'm not going to enjoy it watching it because I know it's not going to be good. I just know it. So we'll just have to wait and see. But it's just really sad to me that I lived long enough to see something like this happen in my country. I don't know. I'm just having a hard time dealing with it. But I don't live there. Yeah, I do have relatives that live in the state of New York, but not in New York City. So I'll have to just wait and see how it unfolds. Like most of us in the rest of the country are going to see.
The irony of it to me really is that everyone always talks about Matthew 7, and it's usually when someone's being critical of them, and they say, judge not that you be not judged. But the very verse after that says, cast not pearls before swine, lest they turn and lacerate you. And basically, right, their whole platform is judging us as pigs. Yet they came here for housing and food and comfort and liberty. And now they're turning around to lacerate us. And it pretty much clearly says that player in that picture is the pig.
Well, yeah, but see, they can say anything they want because their religion allows them. Unlike Christians are to be caring, kind, generous, truthful, all these different things as a Christian to others. But their religion teaches that if you're not our religion, you're a dog, and they don't even want you to have a dog. They don't even want you to have a dog to go to the dog park. They'll stab you and your dog to death in the street. They've done it in Europe many times. And I've showed a few of the videos on some of my shows that just because you're walking a dog, they'll attack you for it. So, I don't see how any dog lover who actually likes dogs would want to vote for this to come into their community. So I don't know. Hopefully nothing bad happens in the state of Texas, because I know tons of people in Texas and all of them own dogs. So with all that popping up all around everywhere, all over Texas, I'm just waiting for the day that we're going to start seeing, street fights because somebody attacked somebody's dog and them because they were walking a dog and they happened to walk by their house or in front of them or near their family or whatever. So it's going to be scary, but we'll have to just wait and see what happens. But this is the next thing that popped up that I thought we could talk about, because it has a lot to do with the whole thing that's going on with Iran. And it's Tom Cotton from the state that I'm in. I don't agree with almost anything he does. I don't really like him that much for my state, but he is one of our senators, and there's not much I can do about it because I'm not the only voter in my state. But I wanted to play this because it had something to do with a lot of the things that Trump's been trying to do with Iran. So I'm going to play this, but it says, Tom Cotton just said Arab nations aren't begging for peace. They're asking President Trump for targeting info so that they can join the fight against Iran. So I thought that was interesting. So I'm going to play this real quick. His whole little spiel.
Join in the strikes in Iran. That's what a real coalition looks like. We're all now fighting together to try to finally eliminate the threat that a revolutionary Iran poses to the United States, to our Arab friends, and to Israel. And I think
so. I was interested about that because I don't really pay that much attention to certain people unless they come up in a subject that I'm talking about. I don't search, I don't follow Tom Cotton. I don't follow any specific person that's in government just to see what they're doing each day. And I know a lot of people to do that. But I just thought that was interesting because I don't remember anyone else saying that out loud, that they're wanting just to get these people to, get them wiped off the map, basically, so that a new government can come in and do that. But I don't want us to do that. I don't want us to, do another, a country where we go in and help them pick out everybody and do all that shit. I don't think we should do that. I think if Saudi Arabia and some of the other countries over there want to help this country get rid of their regimen that's constantly attacking people, and get rid of them, wipe them out, and then go in and help the people pick new people, I think that's great. I think that nation building should be done by the people around the nation, or people like that nation. You know what I mean? I don't think we should have anything to do with that. What do you guys think about that with Iran?
I actually don't care anymore about it. No,
know,
again,
most people don't.
I remember. Well, I remember when in 1979 when the Ayatollah took over. And my father was over there in the Navy. He stayed over there during the crisis. It's been a thorn in our side for a long time. And again, this is all about the oil in the region, trying to control the Strait of Hormuz. And it's the intelligence we get from Israel that's driving all this crap. I'm just done with it all. It's just something to waste our time and money on. We should be concentrating more things that are in America. Everything that you discussed, from from time change to this, it's just a part of the distraction. There are much more things you have to worry about. Our elections, because you had Trump talking about that yesterday, and it's just I'm just sick and tired of it.
Okay, well, good. I'm proud to hear your opinion, because I feel almost exactly the same way. That I think we should just make sure that the oil can go through that area and help the other countries defend themselves against the dweebs until there's nothing left there, and they have no other choice but to get new people in to do different jobs so that they can all be in peace there. At least that in the strait where people can get their oil tankers and stuff through. So, and I think that Trump's doing the right thing by taking the oil and getting a better price, because of that. So we deserve it, because if we are going to be there and help these other countries be able to go through that with those billion-dollar ships, because I know it costs lots of money to build those ships that carry the oil, and we're keeping them from being blown apart by these radicals, then they should give us good deals on oil, because we're helping them. Do you think that same way or not, Chris?
Well, I'm just going to look at what's going on today, really. I mean, Qatar is cutting a new canal so that they don't have to use Iran's, quote unquote, Iran Strait of Hormuz. It's actually international water.
Yeah.
And Trump is bombing military assets. And I knew he was going to, because when he gets tired of their bullshit, that's what he does. So that's okay. Israel already has armed the Iranian people, and they're making leaps and bounds. And Reza Pahlavi is very close to going in to establish a democratic government, parliamentary government. Mm-hmm. And those were all the things that were all planned. The irony and what bothers me the most about it is, let's say we do lose the 2028 election. And now we've got a democratic government who has basically shut the IRGC down. And just today in this chat, we're talking about an Islamic mayor who wants to overthrow Christianity. And basically, the war between Christians and Islam and Judaism will be on American soil, and they'll have a democratic, free country over in Iran full of peace. Now, I don't know, people don't really plan things or think about outcomes all that much, but where are all of those people going? Let's say that they do decide to do that, and then England goes, oh, you know what? All of y'all are right about that, but the Democrats will let us send all of these Nigerians and all of these Kenyans and all of these Africans who came up here in 2014 through Syria. And you can have all of these Muslims, and then all of them come here. Those are the radicals that they sent out into the world to increase the caliphate and take land, right? So what if we do take Iran? Is that good? You know, that reminds me of the story about the Chinese man and his horse, you know, and luck. So I don't know. You never know what the reaction to certain things is going to be. Now, geopolitically, I think that for today they're doing the right thing, but are they planning for an outcome for all of these people that they're trying to displace? That's the problem with supplanting someone. They have to go somewhere. And God forbid the Democrats get back in control, because you screw the border. Screw all of it. Lawfare will go insane. They're talking about taking people in front of firing squads and all. I mean, some of the things coming out of the mouth of the left right now, it's like, oh my God, they can never be in power. No, I was saying this 10 years ago. We are building up in this country, politically and otherwise, to the same exact atmosphere that started in about 1852. States' rights, do this, do that, federal control, taxation without representation, to the point where those men back in those days fought. Then they made two capitals. They had a capital in Richmond and a capital in up in Maryland. So Philadelphia. So, you know, this is the reality that we live in, is that history repeats itself. And with all of this craziness, they just put us in a bad place. Now, my real gut truth is this. The people of Iran, the majority of them who don't have an agenda, you will sit down and have coffee with them and love them. I know a bunch of Iranians. They never had a problem with one. Played soccer with them, served in the military with them, and everything under the sun. Never had a problem with one. What I have a problem with is radicalization. And there's as much radicalization on both sides. We had a good 2-hour talk about that last night. And what President Trump did with his speech last night was to say, you know, if the voters in this country are the people who are supposed to get what they want, that's taxation with representation. Mm-hmm. So if they don't fix the election, and if people don't just start treating each other the way they want to be treated, the road that we're headed down has a pretty bad ending. And there's 600,000 people died in the Civil War. There were 32 million people. So now we got, what, 350 million? So multiply that times 10, you're talking about dead bodies everywhere. Then you got disease and scourge and all this that us special operators have gone and seen in the Middle East and all of this. And even those wars are about radicalism. And you need to think the way I think, or I can't live with you. That's defaces what humanity is all about.
I just remember, and Bruce and I were talking about this earlier today, about people saying, or our government saying, well, we need to send our troops over there to keep it over there so it doesn't come here. But the whole time we were doing that, we were bringing them here and giving them free stuff to make them want to stay here, and popping out 50 babies per family, basically, because you have one dad and 5 or 6 women all having babies for the same guy, because that's the way their religion believes, and they just keep popping them out and we keep paying for them. So eventually in 20 or 30 years, they'll be the ones running for office. So it takes time, because it takes a generation or two for them to take over a whole town. But when they have a mosque and they fly people over here and fill out the paperwork or whatever they need, because they learn all this stuff, then it doesn't take them that long. And within 2 or 3 generations, they own a whole city. You see, that's how it works, because they have 50 kids and we have 1. So
that's where we are. That's where, see, all of this started 2 decades ago.
Yes,
right?
That's what I'm saying.
You just have to accept that all this started 2 decades ago. We brought the snake home. And now we have to deal with the snake.
And the same thing, like we were talking about earlier, was the fact that The Constitution is only a piece of paper if nobody enforces it. It's just a piece of paper. It's just this sheet. It says all these things that we're supposed to have, but if no government backs it or makes sure that they follow through on it, it doesn't mean anything. It means nothing. That means if they say that, they want to have this, that, or the other in their little community, and we do nothing. They have Sharia law in that town, and we give them their own cops, or we give them their own police cars, and they have their own police station, and they have their own stuff. They basically just get bigger and bigger and bigger and push out everyone else because they don't belong in there unless they follow Sharia law. See what I mean? And we're handing it to them, and we're paying for it. See, that's the real sad fact, is that it's our money, and we're handing over our towns and communities. I mean, look at Dearborn, Michigan. They play it 5 times a day, and the rest of the people that aren't their religion still have to listen to it. But can I stand there and play hymns? No. They'll probably come and, who knows what they'll do to me if I stand outside their little deal with a boombox playing Christian hymns. I don't know. I just think it's terrible. But if we don't stand up and start fighting for it, it's already started. They've already taken over whole towns, and we're just standing by and letting them do it. So until you stand up and get off your couch, put the remote down or the controller for your game box, you won't even have a home in 50 years from now. Everything that you thought you had was going to be gone because they're going to just take it, and we're handing it to them. So I just
let me make a comment about your generational, the way you're looking at this generationally.
Yeah.
They've been brainwashed for 47 years that we need to die. Right now, I consider myself an evangelical Christian, not because I go to church. I don't go to church all the time. But I actually live. I'm celibate. I don't drink. I cuss. I smoke. But I don't. Any chance that I get to share my experience with someone else, I'm going to do it. And that's a relationship with Christ and the Holy Spirit. Now, if they had that mentality, right? Some of the people I talk to end up hating me. I put a mirror up in front of them they don't want to look at.
Yeah.
Right. And that's not a good way to make friends,
No.
So I've had to learn to not be abrasive with my sharing my own personal experience. If somebody doesn't want to hear it, don't tell them. Right. Now, that's not, Islam doesn't think like that. It's going to hunt you down and then say, you either do this way or we're going to cut your head off. That's their rule in the Quran. Behead them.
Well, let's say you're in Texas and they have that whole community that they built, okay, that is next to your community. And you have a dog that gets out from under your fence and goes in their community. Guess what? You probably won't see your dog again, because instead of calling the dog catcher, they're just going to get rid of it. Because they hate
okay,
dogs.
But there are laws. Okay, it's a felony to kill a dog. It is also a crime not to have your dog on a leash.
Mm-hmm. That's what I said. So, if it digs a hole under your fence and gets out, that doesn't. I'm just saying these are the newer things that we're going to have to start dealing with, simply because it's going to happen sooner or later. Because you're going to have 2 communities back to back, and one thinks anyone that is not in their realm isn't human, basically, So I'm just saying these people are going to have to get used to it because they invited them in. And
well, I don't think we have the space on this planet anymore for ideological warfare, right? Genocides are based on ideological behavior. Right. And after you go around enough of those, or taking Red Cross food runs to countries where those things happen, it's inhumane. Right. We got to stop acting like animals. So there's got to be some sort of a collective consciousness that goes forward to allow people to have their personal relationship with their creator or whatever it is that helps them get through life. and do it in a way that we don't have to kill each other over it. Now, do I still think I want to share my experience? Yeah, I do, because it changed my life in a very special way. And but I don't have to tell somebody that doesn't want to hear it. If someone sees my life and says, "Oh my gosh, I respect what you have. How did you get it?" That's the answer they're going to get. And that should be the way it is. Just like when I'm at a bar hanging out with people after some, thing I've gone to with senators or whatever, and everybody's drinking and I'm drinking water or Sprite, or, people, "Man, you don't drink?" And I'm like, "No, I sure don't." They said, "Man, tell me about that." Man, they're going to get a mouthful of AA. Right? But I haven't had a drink in 30 years. And what that did for my life, I want to share that with other people. Right? If I've got something good in my life to share with someone that can make their life better, I want to do that. And if people don't want help, walk away. Right? It's that simple. There's so much of this it is involved. But like we were talking about last night, you got to keep in mind, radicalism is in social media. Radicalism is in televised media. The common person that you see walking around, walk by him in the grocery store wearing a hijab or whatever, whatever they're a Zeke, whatever. You could say, "Hey, let's go have a cup of coffee," and you could go have coffee and have fun talking, because we all have these things in common. So that's why I say I don't think the world is big enough for radicalism. And when I say it, I guess I mean with allowing it to infect government.
Well, it's already there now.
Well, Islam is a government. That's what people don't understand. You can't have votes and all. Once Islam becomes the rule here, you have a supreme leader. And he supposedly goes in a room and talks to God. Now, I've never told anybody any crazy shit like that, right? If I want to talk to God, I got to open my ears and shut my mouth and pick up my Bible and read. That's where that voice comes from.
Right, inspiration. But,
yeah, right.
But the thing is that it's people have got to start thinking about what do they want for their children's future, and start making the changes today if they expect anything to happen. That's good for their kids.
Well, we have a couple of generations to go. That's what I've started this out. I want to make a comment about generations. This has become a generational problem.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll find something that works. But
work works.
Yeah,
talking about it doesn't change anything.
Well, no, but you got to talk about it to get people to listen and get people to find out about it, because a lot of people don't even know it's happening because they haven't been paying attention. But this next story I thought was pretty interesting when I finally got the video to work for me. I wasn't able to hear it when I first found it, but I think this is interesting because this is in North Carolina, and I just don't know how we got to these things that are like this that are happening. I just don't see how it's possible. But it's happening. And if people don't do something about it, like this woman is trying to do, they're just going to keep getting bigger and worse. It says, mother of a student that goes to this high school in North Carolina says her son's senior year flag parking spot design was reportedly denied by the school because it might offend someone. She has a picture here, and it shows it's an American flag, and it says Luke, and it says the class of 2027. This student is enlisting in the military, can't have an American flag parking spot at an American public school. So I'm going to play this because I just think this is pitiful. And the fact that we're even in this, that this is even a conversation we're talking about in America about our country's flag is pathetic. But here we go. Make sure it's turned up. Okay.
Y'all, I truly think I'm the maddest I have ever been in my life. Like, I can feel my blood boiling. So we live in America. I live in North Carolina, which is an American state. I live in Union County, North Carolina. I pay taxes in Union County, North Carolina. And I just got a message. So they're doing the seniors can paint a parking spot. And we have to submit our design well in advance. It has to be approved before you can do it when they get ready to start school in August. Y'all, my son is going to be a senior. I'm so mad. I just want to cry. My son is going to be a senior this year at Marvin Ridge High School. He's enlisting in the military, so he's going to be fighting for our country. We put an American flag, submitted all. I will drop the submission that we sent in the comments. An American flag, and it just says Luke class of 27, and it got denied. And the reason that it got denied is because the American flag may offend somebody at our school. Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me? That our American flag may offend somebody at the school or a visitor to the school, so he can't put the American flag on his parking spot. Like, oh my gosh. Like, it makes me want to pull him out of school right now and just say, to heck with it, because that is BS. I'm so pissed and I don't know what to do about it. So I'm coming here on social media to just vent for a minute. So maybe it'll make me feel better. And I don't even know where to begin. Or who to begin contacting about being so mad about our American flag possibly offending somebody at my public school that's around the corner from me in my American county, in my American state. Like, tell me what I should do, because I'm so pissed off.
Okay, so what did you guys think about that? Have you heard about this? And if this had happened, if someone you knew, what would you tell them they should do?
Well, it's a First Amendment issue. It's freedom of speech, it's what they're doing here. But again, they can say it's school property, and that's what you can't do it. So it's just stupid. Flag's backwards anyway. It should be the other way around. But I don't know. It's just dumb. It's basically it's a First Amendment thing. It's South Carolina, right?
Mm-hmm.
So North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, that's wrong. It's wrong. They should ought to do that. There's nothing wrong with that. If the car's on there, then you won't see it, dummies. So I don't know. Yeah,
but it's the thing same thing about a couple of times that we shared a couple videos during the shit show where that one little boy was wearing that flag shirt, and it was on Cinco de Mayo, and they made him turn his shirt inside out. So, in an American school where his parents are paying taxes, that type of shit. I love your hat. Very nice. But it's pathetic.
After listening to that whole thing, and I watched somebody put up a comment, this kid is either in the ROTC or he's enlisted in the military.
Yeah, he is.
Okay, by those codes, he's not allowed to ever desecrate the flag. Now, I say that kind of loosely.
He's not in the military yet.
If a flag hits the ground, there's a process by which it burns. Mm-hmm. And to put one on the ground and then turn around and park a vehicle on it, I mean, it's almost kind of offensive to me when I think about it. It's mm-hmm. like, wait a second, put the flag on the bumper, right? Let him wear a flag on his hat or do some respectful display of the flag. But to park a car on top of it? I mean, what if it's dripping oil and all that shit? I mean, there's several different sides of this argument. And
that's what I was going to say earlier, was the fact that she doesn't really know why someone might be offended by it. See, that's what I'm saying. People will judge something like this simply because they'll say it's an American flag, just like I was saying, and that they should have the right to do this and that or whatever with it. Wear it on their shirt, on their hat, or wear a pin, or even have a bumper sticker on there. But
that's not what she's doing. They're talking about parking a car on it. If they have any ex-military on their staff, I guarantee you there were voices raised in the discussion.
Well, that's true too. But the idea that the reason that she was told is it could be offensive to people. That's the whole idea of First Amendment. So I know where you're coming from. The flag's displayed in the wrong direction anyway. So And you're right. If basically he puts a car on it, he's like, but there's again, it goes back to the design was rejected because it's offensive. That's what she was told. It wasn't said that you're desecrating the flag or whatever. So anybody who would say, yeah, you're desecrating the flag by doing that, put it as a parking space, put it somewhere else, then it's fine. It falls under a First Amendment aspect.
Oh yeah, I agree totally with you. I think that she should be allowed to do it. But what I think she should do is think about how everybody is going to see it. Because anybody who ever bagged a dead soldier from a battlefield or knows that all those red stripes are for the blood lost for the liberty we hold today, to see a car parked on it is a kind of a gash. I mean, I get it and I don't get it. That's why we have to always look at everything we do from how other people are going to see it.
Well, to a degree, but if you let every person who disagrees with you on every aspect, because they're not in the military or they're from another country or whatever their reasonings are behind it, then you're not living your life as a free American. See what I'm saying? So you can listen and try to do certain things to not hurt people's feelings to the best of your ability, but it doesn't matter what you do. It'd be something you wear, like your hat, or that your shorts are too short for that person to say, oh, your shorts are too short, it's obscene. There's always going to be something you're going to do that is inappropriate to someone else. So I'm not going to bend over backward just to wear an outfit or fix my hair a certain way or whatever, just to please people around me. I do it because I like it, and that's because I live in America and I should have the right to do that. So that's why I like having this kind of thing, because it's her opinion that she feels like they're not letting her son have this. And you got to remember, it may not even have been the son that picked it. She said she's the one that designed it and stuff and sent it in. So we don't know every detail about it. But the thing is, the fact that an American school said they could not use the American flag on the parking spot because it was offensive was the whole thing that I thought was wrong. Because it shouldn't be because of its American flag. It's our symbol of our country. So I have a really hard time with any school that we pay taxes for saying no, denying a student being able to use the American flag for something like that. I think it's sad that he's been told no. And hopefully something good will come out of this, but I'm going to try to keep an eye on it. But I did share the link in the chat for anyone who's interested in reading some of the comments that are on there. And I think that that's important because thousands and thousands, millions of people are seeing all of these posts on X, and it's getting to a lot of people. So that's one reason why I really like using X to get a lot of my stuff off of, because so many people are seeing it. But I thought this was an interesting story because it's in our country, and they have the right to have the American flag if they want. They should, just like what Ruben was saying, because it is your First Amendment. But let me take that one down and bring up the next one. I just think it's, important that we support our country and our people and our freedom.
Oh, I agree with what both of y'all say. All I was pointing out was that people are going to perceive this, and the point that I brought up is something that's going to be real for some people.
Yeah, I understand. I'm a military brat. My dad probably would not approve, but I'm just saying. But he would approve that, he says that I died to give the people the right to burn the flag if that's what they want. So,
that's right.
And I've burned a few flags. Now, not the way that people think I would, but because they were falling apart. And I did it following the rules to get rid of the flag that I learned when I was in the Girl Scouts. But here's the next thing that I wanted to share, which I thought was pretty interesting. Because, we're going to go up to the speech and stuff, too, from yesterday. But it says the Senate is holding an anti-tax taxpayer fraud meeting right now with Nick Shirley and James O'Keefe. Now, that was when this Eric posted this. And stunning new footage shows every single Democrat seat is empty. 100% of the Democrats on the committee were invited, 0 showed up. And this was about, it says, the party of fraud. They know about the fraud and are complicit. And the sad truth is that it shouldn't matter whether you're a Democrat or a Republican or an independent. You should all care about fraud, about people taking our tax dollars and spending it and wasting it when we have homeless people. We have veterans that don't have health care. We have tons of things that we could be spending this money on, and it shouldn't matter whether you're a Democrat or not. But to not show up just because you don't like the topic when you were put in office to do a job. See, but where's all the uproar? See, that's what I'm talking about. I hear people bitching about Epstein. Still, even today, I hear that constantly. But where's anybody griping about not one Democrat showed up for this? And it's about fraud, which means they're stealing your money also. So I'm going to play this for you. Here we go.
About it right now. For one, you've got some testimony from the person I kind of call as a fraud busting hero. Nick Shirley is there. And you've got political activist James O'Keefe there. And a lot of Republicans in the room. And I think we have a shot of the empty seats all the way to the right. Yeah, right screen. And then off to the right of that, empty seats where Democrats would be sitting. I mean, how does this play out? Dems don't care about defrauding the American people?
They don't want to know the truth about this. You look at what happened in Minnesota with Tim Walz. You look what's happened in California. You look at these areas that have just basically turned a blind eye and have let people move forward with fraud. During my portion of the questioning, we talked about the Fraud Accountability Act, which would make it a denaturalized.
About it right now. For one, you've got some testimony from the person.
So what do you guys think about that? I mean, shouldn't this be something that it shouldn't matter what party you're in, that you'd want to fight to stop the fraud?
Correct.
In our country, period. So why aren't more people calling this out? I mean,
because again, it's Punch and Judy. Remember, Democratic, Republican, there's no difference. It's a uniparty. It's basically it's a dog and pony show. Bread and circuses. They don't care about the fraud because they're fraud on both sides. Again, I hate it. I hate it when you say rhinos. I hate it when you say that there are. Again,
well, I'm a conservative. Okay,
so am I.
Well, I know you are too. We both are. But the only way I can separate, because people say the Republicans. Well, I don't. When I say rhinos, I mean they're in name only. They're not conservative.
But it's all uniparty. It's all the same. It's all fraud. We have to change everything right now. They're not going to change. They're not going to do anything. Like I said, we've been talking about it's a shit show. We've been talking about daylight savings time, talking about this and that, and they're not doing anything. It's just a big show. They're going to have these hearings. They go on and they talk about nothing. It's a sad state. So essentially, what happens is that, again, people have to understand the Mandani effect is going to go on if we do not win in the midterms here. They want to stack the court. They want to do things. You see what's going on in Maine right now. No one's talking about it. They weren't showing Trump talking about the fraud that's going on. It's a fraud on all sides. It's not just Democrats doing it. It's not China just doing it. Everyone's doing it. It's all fraud.
That's why I said it shouldn't matter who you work for or what side you say you're on.
I know, but they're not going to do anything.
They want to stop the fraud. They don't care. Period.
Yeah, they don't care about it. That's
upsetting to me.
Yeah, I know.
But what do you think about it, Chris? Do you have anything you want to add?
I'll just say, fraud. Okay, my last hearing, June 2nd, I think it was. In Senator Johnson's cancer uptick that has been proven to be related to the vaccine. Richard Blumenthal came in there, and not one other Democrat came in, and Blumenthal got up and left. Right now, we've got the doctors from all over the world and leading American doctors on a panel who did the research to come up with this proof that mRNA vaccines cause cancer, and not one Democrat showed up. And I'll say, I'll add to with my position on the Presidential Intelligence Advisory Board, I promise you the senators on there, they ain't not doing nothing. Rand Paul is one of them, right? We're going after COVID. We're going after the election fraud. We're going after the Medicare and Medicaid fraud, all of it. That's what the whole Doge thing was, to uncover that money. It didn't all get declassified. That people would have had a revolution if they knew what was really going on. I'll agree with that Ruben said that absolutely it's a shit show. It's the everyday shit show, right? Not the Friday night shit show. It's the everyday shit show.
Yep,
but there are people now fighting, willing to fight for us. And I'm telling you, I went to special operations bases, Congress, and all of that stuff from 2019 until present, still doing it. And just now we have a handful of people willing to fight for us that have ethical conviction and care for humanity. So fraud, yeah, they thought that about people dying of cancer left and right. Screw your life, you peon little shit. Who cares if you die from the mRNA vaccine? We tested on you. We got something else we're going to test on you next month. And that's the attitude that has to go away. End taxation without representation. The Washington, D.C. tag for automobiles, that every car has to have one on the front and the back to even go in that place, says end taxation without representation on it. Every one of them does. It's not like we're not all well aware of what's going on here. So it's a generational issue. We sat back and we watched all this happen. Social media sped the process up. They built the algorithms so that hate and discourse would be what got the most likes and the most attention. And they built this divisive place that we live in, where people come on here and they talk tough. But if you put them in a room with the people that they supposedly hate, they'll have coffee and chit chat. Right? It's all bullshit. It's not just them that's bullshit. Social media is bullshit. Legacy media is bullshit. Print media is bullshit. It's all
meant
bullshit.
To confuse. It's meant to distract.
Yeah, that's right. It's a distraction. All of it.
And the one thing that you're not haven't brought up, I saw a few days ago, is like the one Democrat who's talking sense now, who wasn't talking sense when he was running for office, was John Fetterman.
Yes.
So
because he sees the hypocrisy.
So
yeah, I'm proud of John Fetterman. When he had his stroke, when Fetterman had his stroke, the way the Democrats did him, and his wife was running his campaign, and all I could think about was Justice Ginsburg and Senator Feinstein. And then about the time he woke up and started to become more moderate, next thing you know, the President Carter's nurse signed his vote for the 2024 election for Kamala Harris, of all things, right? And the whole Joe Biden scandal, where he was in a basement and somehow got more votes than Barack Obama did. Now, nobody believes that. I mean, it's laughable. The whole thing's laughable. The Democrat Party doesn't give a shit about your life. No police. Oh my God, no police. The things that they have done have cost millions and millions of lives. We're talking 1938 to 1945 Germany lives here. with the vaccine and all the people that died in the desert trying to walk here, and all the raped and murdered and children left in the desert to be eaten by coyotes. I mean, the stuff I'm saying, as horrible as it sounds, it's the reality of what we've done for 2 decades. How do we unravel this? I mean, I guess by ending daylight saving time. I mean, I don't, it's like,
I
Jesus.
don't either. The thing
Right,
is,
and let's throw in there, Janet. Let's bring
nobody,
that up again
I
about
know, but
last night.
nobody can fix anything if you don't know about it. See, that's one reason why I like doing the shit show, is because we bring up stuff that I don't see anybody else talking about on any other of these little broadcasts. So
Well, let's talk about what Senator Lee said yesterday, right? He brings that up. We look it up, right? Oh my God. The vice president is the president of the Senate. Whenever they say Mr. President to whoever's controlling the White House, that person was sent there by the vice president or appointed out of the Senate to take that seat for that day. Now, the parliamentarian who decides what to bring to vote on is appointed by him. He appointed this woman. She is the person who won't let him vote on the Save America Act. All right, our vice president and the parliamentarian of Senate are refusing to bring what 80% of Americans say they want up for a vote. That is the biggest issue that we're facing as American citizens today. They are pissing in our face and saying, no, we're not going to represent you. We're going to do what we think is right. And how wrong can it be? How deluded are these people that think that anybody should be able to vote? That's insane.
Well, we'll be talking about that here in just a little bit, because I got the whole stuff about his speech towards the end of the show. So I had that on here. But this right here, I think, is important, because more and more of these little videos like this experience this young woman's going to be talking about with the whole AI stuff. This is all AI that's coming in, that's been slowly evolving over, the last few years, more and more, where it's more prominent. But I wanted to share this because, to me, this was like an eye-opener for some people. Not so much for someone like me because of where I live, but for those of you that live in cities, bigger cities, you're already, the flock cameras and all that kind of stuff. It's all the stuff that's starting to happen. We're seeing more and more of it. I wanted to share this video with her because this girl is so upset that she's walking the whole time that she's speaking because she is pissed off. So I want to share this with you guys. So here we go. Make sure it's turned up.
Something happened in downtown Detroit yesterday that I can't stop thinking about, and that frankly is making me sick to my stomach, and also makes me want to smash up the phone that I'm holding right now and get a landline and tell all my friends, you're just gonna have to call me like we're in the 1950s, because what do you mean? What do you mean? I will be walking around my house while I'm telling the story. If you get motion sickness, close your eyes, because I'm not stopping. Anyway, we were in downtown Detroit yesterday, going around to different boutiques and stuff. And there, if you didn't know, there are several like women-owned boutiques in the Fisher building that are really cool. So we go there, and there is a parking garage right next to the Fisher building that you can park in. Something you need to know about my friend Gina is that she will not pay for parking because it's a hassle. I don't really know the why, but she always will say, well, they can give me a parking ticket and I'll pay that. And that's fine. That's her prerogative. I don't care, because I'm not driving and it's not my problem. It's not my business. So when you go on to the parking garage at the Fisher building, there's a QR code on the wall. Mind you, I've been to the Fisher building, to these boutiques, several times. The last time I went was in March of 2025. This is relevant. Stay with me. So we go into the building. She doesn't do the QR code, whatever. I honestly didn't even think about it at that time, but we're in there for 36 minutes. And you might be like, wow, that's a really specific number, Katie. How do you know that? I know that because as we were driving, literally as soon as we drove out of, literally as the car was passing out of the garage, I get a text. I got a text on my phone that says, thank you for parking with us. We've charged your card. What card? What card? There's a link to a receipt. I click it. It has identified that my phone was in the parking garage. It has then linked me to a vehicle that I have nothing to do with, have never been there in, ever in my life. Has the make, model, and license plate number of her car that I have nothing to do with. It's not my car. I was not driving it. And it said, well, she didn't pay. You're going to pay. And just charge my card. A card, by the way, that they never disclosed to me that they were keeping on file the last time I was paying. Excuse me? And I don't care. I don't care that I paid for parking. I will pay for parking. I paid for parking, obviously, when I go, and I would pay for parking, and it's not a big deal. It's not like I care that they charge me for parking. What I care about is, how the hell do you have the ability to track that my phone entered this parking garage, link it to a car that has nothing to do with me, that I've never driven there, that I am not the owner of, I've never driven, period. And then you've determined that because the person that did drive the car that I was in didn't pay, I have to pay. Excuse me? When did I give you a blanket authorization to just charge my card because you've identified my phone is in the building, even though I'm not the driver of any car parked in that garage? When did I give you that permission?
This one is actually really wild, and it's 100% true. So the parking garage is the Fisher Building Garage in Detroit. So they use a system called the Metropolis Parking Platform, and what it does uses license plate recognition cameras combined with phone-linked accounts and payment storage details. So what happens is you enter the garage, the cameras pick you up, they identify your license plate and your vehicle, and then you automatically start getting billed for the amount of time that you're in that parking garage. So your phone, how this works is that you set up an account when you go into this garage to pay your bill. So when you register on the app, you put in your license plate number, you put in your cell phone number, you put in your credit card details. All that information is then saved and stored on their cloud. So now when you enter this parking garage, it knows your car details, it knows your phone information, and they have sensors that can pick up the signal on your phone and identify you. So even if you're not in your actual car, the garage knows that you're inside the building. So I guess it just automatically associated this person's car with this person's phone, even though it likely wasn't linked to the app. So obviously this is definitely a privacy concern, because what if you're just in a friend's car and then you're the only one that has the payment, and all of a sudden you get billed, you never know that you got billed, and then it goes to collections, you get a warrant. I mean, this could just spiral very quickly, all because you entered a parking garage with your friend. The crazy thing is that there's a lot of people that are experiencing the same issue with this same parking system. People are being charged when they don't think that they should be charged. People are being charged just because license plates are similar. So you go into one of these parking garages that uses this system, and then somebody else goes in with a similar license plate. It misidentifies a person and then sends a bill and charges your card, which is just wild.
I just thought that was very interesting. So have you guys heard about this story before? Or having that happen to anyone you know?
I'll say this. I don't take my phone anywhere with me unless I'm leaving town. And when I leave town, I put it on airplane mode. And I take it out of airplane mode when I want to use it. And if I was in a situation like that, I'll show you how I would look when I pulled in there.
It hasn't happened to me.
They'll never get, you look just like that. And they can't use facial recognition on. I mean, there's a way to fight everything, and all those switches on that phone, they're yours. When you sign your user agreement with Apple or any of them, you sign those rights away. But you can always take them back by either leaving your phone, turning it off. Doesn't always work. But they just passed a law and outlawed geofencing for police. They can no longer use geofencing in investigations.
What is that?
And I would say that that's a police issue, right? If
what is geofencing? What is it? I don't know what that is.
Like your phone, I can take your phone because of what I do for a living, and I can tell you everywhere you went. I can tell you where you walked around in your house. I can print a map up and it will show me where you walked in your house. You don't even have to be using it. You don't have to be using it.
If I'm just carrying it in my bra or something, you can tell where I went because I had my phone in my bra.
That's right.
Okay, but if I left my phone in the one room, would you be able to still know what rooms I'm in?
Yeah, because the 5G signal monitors the reflection of the radar inside the house. And AI keeps all that. That's a big thing they're talking about right now. It's scary right now, right? That's why I quit carrying my phone. I've got multiple phones. I've got a satellite phone just for business.
If you live where I live and you drive around, half the time I have no service. So they wouldn't be able to say, they could say, well, she stopped here. And then all of a sudden, 17 miles away, she appears again, you know, stuff like that. Because I've been on the phone with many people and it goes, and then it's just not there anymore.
Well, if I'm driving the car, I'm going to pay the stupid parking thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah. I can understand that, but you could tell by the woman's attire and her hair and everything that this isn't someone who's used to having issues with any problems with anything, right? Because she was expecting, you know, Big Johnny to take care of everything, or you know what I mean? But all of a sudden, it actually happens to her because she's wearing a rainbow bright shirt and. You know, I could just tell if I was to be sitting and talking to her that she leans opposite of me, which is fine. But a lot of these people are starting to wake up when they're realizing it's affecting them now. See, what they thought was, you know, all hunky dory because it didn't affect them, but it was happening to other people. They were like, oh, well, it's not my problem. You know, I hear that all the time. And now that it's starting to be their problem, you know, like, somebody made a comment because they saw these people and they had taken their hands and glued them to the cement in the road, right? And left, and they were there and they had to come and cut big holes out and try to get all this solvent and stuff to take the stuff off their hand. I would have just said, I would have cut the big holes and then took them to the cell. Left them in there with this giant pieces of cement stuck to their hands. They're the ones that glued themselves there. Why should I have to pay for it? See? Stuff like that. We could start handling it a lot differently for these people that make these dumb mistakes or dumb choices for themselves. It shouldn't drag the rest of us in on it. But you should start thinking about it. Do you want to, if you don't have your phone on you, when you go to these places, they can't track you.
That's true.
So just like you said, leave it in a Faraday bag or whatever. Just don't have it on you. Don't turn it on until you leave. Once you're
owning a cell phone is a security threat. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you where I bitched and raised hell about this was with the tolls, with the highway tolls, because I had to rent. I was helping somebody move from Long Island down to Space Coast last year about this time, and they don't rent U-Hauls on Long Island. So I pick up a trailer and I go and I've got a little thing on my car and it automatically pays and all that shit the way it does, right? And a couple of weeks later, I get a bill from Long Island saying $80. And it was because I was pulling the trailer and it tagged the trailer and sent the bill to U-Haul.
Yeah.
For $88. Yeah. For helping somebody move. Right. Mm-hmm. And,
I'm glad
that pissed me off. Same sort of thing. Wasn't my trailer, wasn't my tag, wasn't any of that. Here I get a bill for $88 or whatever it was.
So did you give it to the person you moved?
No, I just paid U-Haul. It was I was somebody that I was helping.
Well, I haven't driven through any tolls or anything like that yet in my vehicle, so I have never had a ticket. I've never gotten a ticket. Ever, as I don't speed. I wear my seatbelt. You know, I try to follow the laws, knock on wood, because I might end up getting one now. But I'm just saying, I do the best I can, but I have never gone through a toll. The only tolls I've ever been through are the ones where you put coins in it, you know, when you drive by, whatever. I've never been through any of the ones that have the sun pass and stuff. I've been in cars with other people in Florida that had different things like that, but I've never.
Well, I mean, I told you about my magistrate case. I didn't really give you any details, but I had to be on chemotherapy and I had to have knee surgery at the same time. So the VA gets me this nurse that she's like comes to my house and helps me take care of, you know, stuff because couldn't walk. So I get a guy brings a subpoena to my door May 16th, 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, whatever it was. And I'm like, what in the hell is this? I said, I don't have any debts, man. I own my house, my cars, everything. I got my deeds, titles. I don't have all that kind of shit. What is this? So of course I look into it. This nurse stole my information. She went and bought $2,600 worth of diamond rings and literally took them from the jeweler to a pawn shop.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm the one that's got to pay it.
Well, that happened to me. My mother had cancer. This was like 7 years ago, and I was taking her from Arkansas to Texas to the Cancer Institute or whatever. I think that was the name of the hospital. And I was staying with her while she was doing the chemo and different things, and also in New Orleans when she'd come down there and was doing some chemo. But I went to the cafeteria. And I used my credit card because I didn't want to use my debit. You know, I used my credit card. And that night, I got an alert saying that my card was used online to buy porn and a whole bunch of other stuff. And the person who swiped my card apparently stole my numbers off of it. And so this really sad was that hurt my feelings because I said, I'm at a cancer hospital. I'm taking my mother for a treatment and they steal from me. It's like, how pathetic of a person are you to steal from cancer victims' families? I mean, it was just heartbreaking to me. And I told the hospital the next day when I went, and I pointed to the two people that were working and the one person that cashed me out. I said, these are the people that were working, and this is my bank information. You can contact this number because they're the ones that notified me. So one of those people stole from me. So I just wanted you to know, because I'm sure if they stole from me, they stole from other people that are here at your hospital. So I turned her in or whatever. But it's sad that anyone would take advantage of other people like that. But people do it every day because they don't give a shit about you. They only care about themselves. They only care about themselves. But I want to bring this up. This was after what you and I last night when we did the live speech. This came up on my timeline, and I have followed the Colonel Watkins for a few years now, and she has podcasts and stuff. But she posted this because this guy has been on my timeline many times, and he talks about different things, all different types of subjects and stuff. But she thought it was important to share this, so I thought it was important. It says, pay attention. You will see people posting this shit frequently. The boomers, and she uses boomers lightly, I guess, telling you no one will be arrested, even though multiple people have been arrested, including Comey. They also know that there are multiple grand juries in Florida right now. You can't go out and start arresting people without an indictment from a judge or a grand jury. You also can't start arresting people when all of the basis for the arrest was classified. They are either stupid or participating knowingly and or unknowingly in an operation to keep people despondent. Pay attention to who is doing this. It is very important to understand the steps in the process of how this worked in the past. And it's truth. If you don't have all the evidence that you can use in court, like we're seeing right now, or just unfolded with the Tyler Robinson stuff, you have all these people saying how they didn't have the right bullets and they don't have this and the trajectory was wrong, blah, blah, blah. That it wasn't him, it was someone else. It was his lover. You know, they got all these different points of view, but none of them took that information apparently to the defense that's getting paid $8 million to defend this, the Tyler Robinson, to the court to save him, since they believe that he's being a patsy, right? but they spout all this stuff and they get tons of clicks and make lots of money from it, but yet they don't care whether he really is crucified or not. If they really believe what they were saying, why aren't they given all this evidence that they supposedly have to save him? But they're not, okay, because they don't have real proof evidence that can be used in a court of law. Just like if you were in court or I was in court and I needed a jury of my peers, I would have to have evidence against me that a jury can see and that can work in court. Well, that's what she's trying to say. Don't listen to these ding-dongs that don't know what they're talking about. I told everybody before Comey was arrested that I felt he'd be the first person that would be brought in because he was going to spill the beans on other people. That's what I was saying. But I said, if you arrest him too soon, he's going to get a corrupt judge and it's just going to get thrown out. And I said the same thing with Hillary Clinton, the same thing with any of these people that we want to see arrested. So we have to follow the letter of the law if we expect these people to be prosecuted. Everyone was telling me during the whole P. Diddy thing, oh, nothing's going to happen. He won't get this. Nothing will happen. But look at him. He's in prison. Okay. Yeah. The jury didn't give him all the things that we felt he deserved. Okay. The human trafficking across state lines, that type of thing. But he's in prison. Something that everybody said will never happen. It's never going to happen. Well, if you have the evidence and you have a real jury of people, something will happen, but you have to be patient and make sure it goes to court. Okay. So I've been a juror in federal court and in regular court. So I understand the process of it. And I tell people, sign up to work the polls so you can understand the process of what it is when you're in the polls and whether they're cheating or not, that type of thing, because you'd be able to see it. If you were trained to work the polls and you see somebody take someone else's ballot and write on it and then take it over there and do it, you can see them that they're cheating because that is not their ballot and they don't have the right to write on it. That kind of thing. That's all I'm saying. But so we just have to be patient and wait and see what happens. And that's what the Colonel was trying to say when she posted this. And I'm going to share that in the chat for anybody that wants to go and listen to the other video and read the comments. I tell people that. So research for yourself. I tell you that all the time. Please use your mind and start looking up stuff. Don't just believe what anybody tells you, because that's what a lot of people seem to be doing. It's just believing anything. Okay.
It's all about that clickbait.
Yeah, apparently, but I don't get paid to do this. So I pay basically $25 a month just to have this service so I can air this stuff. And if you don't want to hear me, you don't have to. Just go to the next person that's got a show on. That's fine. I have no problem with that. So let me shut that off and then go to the next thing that I had pulled up real quick. Let's see. It's by the Wall Street Ape. Oh, there he is. Okay. All right. Here's another story that came across my timeline that I thought was interesting. It says the former CIA officer Gary Bernstein confirms that exactly what Donald Trump revealed during his address to the nation on election fraud. Donald Trump said they found Venezuela can alter the vote totals of our electronic voting machines and rig our elections. Remember, Ruben, you and I, when we were talking when they went in and took Maduro out, and we were talking about all that, and we were speculating on why they took him. And I said, it's probably because they wanted him because he had all the evidence, a bunch of the evidence.
There's something even more recent. Remember Mike Lindell and the Dominion voting, which is the lawsuit they no longer pursued it.
Yeah.
So they knew the jig was up, and Mike Lindell is running for Minnesota governor.
Yep. So hopefully
it's all tied in,
Yeah, it's all tied in. I think so too. And that's why I think that Maduro's wife was also taken, because they knew if they left her, the people he was in bed with to help do all this cheating everywhere, helping people, that she would probably be kidnapped and murdered, or or something. So they took her also. So I think that we got a lot of good stuff. But I've been hearing from other people saying that in their states, and they're playing different stuff from different states about what their states are already talking about, and what the changes they're going to be making, and certain people that are going to be probably being arrested in their states. So there was a few of them talking in spaces this morning, and I was trying to listen, but my service wasn't very good this morning. For some reason, my internet was going in and out, and I have to use a booster to have cell service where I live. So it's really, it's a pain in the ass. But, like my computer that I'm sitting at, that's why I like to use it as much as I can, because I have my internet, plugged directly into my computer, because the Bluetooth and stuff like that just doesn't work very well. But I'm going to play this video real quick. So hold on for a second. This is what he was talking about.
Hundreds of millions of U.S. voter files are in the hands of foreign governments. Our machines and ballot counting systems are exposed to hacking and manipulation and corruption.
In Trump's speech, he's saying specifically that Venezuela has the ability to rig our elections and our electronic voting machines. This is highlighted directly from the report. CIA report confirms the Venezuelan plot to digitally rig elections in 2020 by altering vote totals undetectably. And this was exactly exposed by Laura Logan. She did a full interview with a former CIA officer, and he went over all of this.
Well, the important thing to understand here is that Smartmatic has its office in Caracas, and it's co-located with the Consejo National Electoral, the National Electoral Commission. And there's 150 Smartmatic engineers and 150 CNE engineers side by side. They have two missions. Number one, steal elections. Number two, defeat audit. Study audit. How do different states and different localities conduct their audit, so that when they're audited, you defeat audit? An example, when people put absentee ballots on a scanner, it'll take a picture and take a picture and take a picture. And then when it's about to save them, it gets ready to take a picture of almost 100 together. But what it does is they erase that picture, send in another picture, because all these machines are connected to the internet. They're all hooked up. They're not supposed to be. A new picture comes in, 100 votes or 90% for the person that they want. Mm-hmm. But when you do the audit, you're not allowed to look in the box. You have to look at the screens. They've changed the rules around the country in the different states that make it almost impossible to show that they cheated because of, and what they do also is they'll make proprietary the source code. You can't examine that. You can't look at different types of technologies proprietary, because that's where they're cheating. And they blocked those individuals very cleverly. One of the things that we learned is there's 14 different technical ways that you can steal an election. And they're operating off different parts of the machinery, but they can use number 1 and number 3, number 6 and number 7. They can use combinations, and they never use the same combinations in adjacent districts.
So that you can't find patterns.
They prepare an election a year in advance. They have the poll books. They have hundreds of people. They have statisticians. They have comms engineers, software engineers. This was the science of engineer theft and a multi-billion-dollar business globally.
And that's what you document in this book, is how they have, it started.
So this is from a former CIA officer. He is telling us that our voting machines are rigged in every single district.
Amazing. So what do you guys think about that? Have you seen that yet? And now, see, I love Laura Logan. Way back when I first started on Drew Taylor's channel, Drew was, I was so proud of him. He wore a suit and everything. It was a great show. It was like 3.5 hours long, and Laura came on, and we all had tons of questions for her, and she was so much of a lady. She was courteous. She was kind. She listened. She tried to answer every question that every single person asked. Did you watch that live, Ruben?
I remember, yes.
Okay, she was wonderful, and I've watched her ever since. I love her shows. I listen to what she says. She's so intricate and hands-on with everything she does. I just love her, and she doesn't care who likes her. I really believe in her because I feel like she does everything she has to get to the bottom of as much as she can, and she tries to share it with people, and she gets lots and lots of hate because of it. And I really do respect this woman, and I think that she does everything to try to get as much factual information out as she can. And we need more people like that in journalism. That's all I wanted to air. I want to talk about that. But the thing is that I really believe that now that all of this stuff has been declassified finally, and the stuff that he found in burn bags, or they found in burn bags that were supposed to have been destroyed, but for some reason was set somewhere else and got forgotten, thank goodness. So we got a lot of this. But he said there was 18 states that they sent all this information to, for each of the states that they found all the documentation to prove that their state was compromised, and who compromised them, where the information went, whose information was taken. Everything they have has been sent to these states. So now the states have got to do certain things if they want to start seeing somebody held accountable for it. And the only way to make sure that that happens is that the people in those states, and I think there's was it on the whitehouse.gov website, Chris, that he said that they were sending all this stuff to too, or not?
Yes.
I was like, I have to watch that video again, but it's recorded. So if you want to watch the speech, I do have it on our show from last night, and you can watch it because he does have more detailed stuff, but I just don't absorb information very well. I've never been an A+ student. So I'm not really smart when it comes to remembering all this stuff. I do the best I can, and I try to take as many notes as I possibly can. But I'm learning. I'm in a learning process of learning all this stuff. But I just think that if you want to know more, go to Laura Logan's channel and look up some of her stuff. She's got some really good information if you want to know factual stuff. But all you got to do is start paying attention a little bit more about all the 18 states that received these documents from this administration for the cheating and how it was done. That guy that was on her show, I mean, he's really good at explaining stuff for people like me that have to listen to the same thing like 12 times to even understand part of it. When it comes to working on my car or fixing something around my house or any of that stuff, I wish I was smarter. I wish I could absorb information a little better, but I'm just not that good at it. But I try. I'm not a quitter. I'm not going to give up. But I just wanted to share that because I thought that whole thing was really important to add the information to what we did last night for the speech, because I thought that it was very informative. Okay, so is there anything you want to talk about, Chris, after what we just listened to?
Well, I would just add that he didn't say this is what we think, go find the documents.
No, it's
he
proof.
said we found the documents and this is what happened, right?
Yeah. He's got the proof.
You yourself brought it up a while ago about indictments and all that. Mm-hmm. Listen, by the time they show up to put the handcuffs on, they have everything they need. It's the way they build cases. Now, I'll close this thought with the judiciary is corrupted. It's mostly corrupted at state level. And I mean, they're stopping Trump from the presidential agenda and all this. It's gray in the lines between the three separations of powers. So I just take all of with a grain of salt and watch what happens every day. Mm-hmm. Because this, from my viewpoint and all my training and education and my life experiences, this was an act of war, right? If you're going to take elections away from a free country, That is an act of war in the chess game sense of the word. And until we're willing to fight back as though it was an act of war, we're not going to win. So complacency is a huge problem, but you got to keep in mind the judiciary is very corrupted with people who agree with some of these things, and as unconstitutional as they are.
I know, and that's why each of the things that I'm playing connects to the next thing in different ways. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's why I've tried to set up my shows that way so that we can go through it. And it kind of connects one thing to the next thing, because everything is broken up. That's what makes it so hard, is that when you have so many fires going, okay, that the people running to put that fire out and people running in the other direction to put these different fires out, nobody's talking to each other about who started all the fires. They were all started by the same person. See what I mean? That type of stuff. We don't connect it until later on. And everybody's like, nah, that can't be true. And then we got to show each other pictures or whatever evidence you have. And that's the only way to put things together. And what was really telling to me was that all the channels that didn't even want to show Trump's speech. He's the president of the United States, and they didn't even want to show it because they knew what he was going to talk about. Okay. And that's what I'm talking about. So if you step back and look around, you can start seeing people going, like trying to act like they're not involved. It gets to be more and more obvious of who is involved. And the media is one of them, because of the Smith-Mundt Act that Obama signed. I think it was in 2016. It made it to where you don't, the media can pretty much say whatever they're told to say, and you can't hold anybody accountable for it. See what I mean? That type of same thing that they did when they covered their ass about saying you can't sue the pharmaceutical companies when they're trying to save people by giving you this jab. You see what I mean? It's all set up because you're the guinea pig. People, wake up, walk away, to open your cage and step out, because they're holding you there because they know they can keep you there, keeping you bitching about that or moaning about that or doing this and that while they're trying to do this, because they're keeping you away from where they want you to not be. Then it's working because you guys are all following the wrong trail, thinking you know what you're talking about, but you don't. So that's why you got to try to listen and read and look up as much as you can for yourself. So, and stop trying to disbelieve one narrative, because there isn't just one. But here we go. Here's the next thing that I found. I thought was interesting. Now, this isn't a video or anything, but this Officer Lou, he posted this. It says, meet Nikki Flores, FBI analyst, who bragged about running a shadow government inside the Bureau, according to a just released declassified document. She's now director of insider risk at Microsoft. Remember how I showed all those videos of the woman from the CEO from YouTube that was stopping you from posting a video that tells you you should take ivermectin or try using vitamin D or vitamin C and this and that to help you with your COVID before you go and you get the shot or do any of these other things. She took them down. She had them taken down. Like a lot of the stuff that I posted at the very beginning, I got my channel shut down for 2 weeks at a time and stuff because I tried to post things that I thought were important to help people. And I'm not even monetized. Okay. I'm nobody. I'm a teeny tiny speck of a channel, yet they're taking me down and on me like a hawk because they don't like what I say, that I try to share information for people. And when I'm not doing it for clicks and yay, look at me, I'm popular. I got I got 25,000 followers. I barely have 13,000, and I've been on there for 5 years because I'm shadow banned, people. I mean, I'm not doing this for fame and fortune. Okay. I'm not making any money. I spend money to do this because I believe in what I'm doing. It could help people. Okay. It's sad because I feel like I have to beat my head over a wall because I'm a big feminist pig that just cares about me and I hate men or whatever point of view these people have about me is wrong. They don't know me, and they don't listen to me apparently. But this woman used her job to steal information. And did you guys hear about Trump's teleprompter? What happened with that whole thing?
Yeah, I saw that.
The whole thing is disgusting. And it says here, she was releasing documents, it says right here, she ran a shadow government operation to hide Chinese penetration of our 2020 election systems. Okay. This is straight up treason. Okay. But this is another person that's going to end up getting in trouble from their state. Okay. And the federal government, they're doing their part too. But now that this stuff has been declassified, people can actually see what was going on. And now we can hold them accountable because now we have documentation to take to court. We have something. And this administration's made sure that it went to the states that it came from and that stopped them from having a fair election. The people in their states should be bitching and moaning, saying, we demand justice. We want to see some heads roll. And if they're not in their state doing that, because if I'm looking, I've been trying to read anything from my state of Arkansas. If I find out anything, I'm going to be one of the people making phone calls and calling and sending emails saying, I demand something happen. And I'm going to talk to other people that I know in my state that are very vocal and try to get something done, because all I can do is my own state. I can't come to your state in Arizona and say, I demand that you do this, when your people in your state should be saying, we demand this be fixed before our next election, period. People have got to get off their ass and start fighting for their states. If you guys want to be as fair as possible and, get these people arrested, the people that have since 2020, at least, that they got documentation for, been cheating and taking your vote away from you and putting the person in they wanted to have in there. Like your own governor in Arizona should probably not even be in office because she was in on it. So I want to see some people taken care of, but it's got to be done properly where it will stick and these people will actually serve time. So that's what I want to see, because you guys already know how I feel about Hillary Clinton, and she's the one person that I would like to see justice prevail over. That's the one person I want to see. But if I might not get to see that for a long time, but I'm willing to wait because I want to make sure it sticks. I want to see that person get what they deserve. So like anybody would want for anybody that commits crimes. But okay, here's the next one. I thought this was pretty good.
We're going to replace them with proud American veterans. We're going to take our veterans. We're going to teach them a lot about driving trucks. And in many cases, they know. We're going to say any American who's driven a heavy truck for our military will automatically be eligible for a commercial driver's license. So we're going to get them taken care of. And the radical left is very much opposed to that, but it doesn't matter what they want because we're the ones that are running. We're going to replace.
So basically, what they're going to try to do is by fixing these corrupt companies that are hiring people that can't even read the road signs, that can't speak English. We're trying to repair it by hiring our veterans, that did whatever type of the right kind of jobs in the military, by giving them a job as a truck driver for some of these companies and get the people off the road that don't belong there. So I just wanted to share that because I think that's wonderful. And I'm going to share this link real quick in the chat for anyone that wants to go and read some of the comments and stuff like that are come with this. So hold on. Let me stop sharing this, close it, go back over here. But did you see that? Did you know that already, Chris? I'm pretty sure you probably already knew about it.
Yeah, I think we talked about it in the show last night.
Yeah, but I still wanted to share it tonight in the shit show because there might have been a lot of people that didn't know anything about it. But here we go. Here's something else. Because he's doing stuff. He is doing stuff. But because he's hated by so many, And he has to do so much stuff by executive order because he has a lame ass bunch of senators that won't even pass the SAVE Act, so that people that don't even belong in our country can't vote. Standing next to me, someone who was born of a military person that served our country, and I'm an American citizen, and I have to stand next to someone who just walked over the border that can't even read English, can't speak English, hasn't paid taxes in my country, but yet they can vote for who my president is, which is fucked up, and I don't agree with it. And I can't believe we have anyone that's elected by us is voting against you for voting for them, saying that they don't give a fuck if you have a right to vote as long as their illegals get to vote. It's messed up, and it really pisses me off that veterans fought and died for this country, for our senators to sit on their ass that on this SAVE Act that's been on their desk since February. It just pisses me off. I'm sorry. I know I went on a rant, but I can't help it. I just get so upset.
Yeah, they keep on saying the same thing. Then you have to bring your birth certificate, and women, and it's disenfranchised women.
Yeah, I know, it's bullshit, and it's lies.
Stupid.
Even when they say that a person of the wrong skin color isn't going to be able to get a right to vote and all this kind of shit. And they went around, that one guy, remember on Tucker's show, he went around and interviewed people that were walking down the street that were of, not white, and asked them, do you have a driver's license? Can you get ID? And all of them were saying, that's ridiculous for you to ask me that question. But yet the Democrats were saying that it's impossible for half of America that's not white, that they can't get IDs and stuff like that. They can't even get a library card and shit. It's ridiculous and stupid because they think you and I are stupid. They think voters are stupid. They think American taxpayers are too stupid to wipe their own ass, okay? And they treat you like that, but yet you still vote for them. Just disgusting. I don't understand.
The person that's doing that, we did not vote for them. Okay, let's go back.
Okay, go ahead.
The way parliamentarian procedure works, the parliamentarian gets 500 bills, right?
Yeah.
And they put a bunch of lame shit in there nobody wants to vote on. Nobody even wants that, it's an AOC bill or it's an Ilhan Omar bill, whatever. Yeah. They don't even vote on, right? The parliamentarian chooses what to vote on. That bill has not been presented for vote because of the parliamentarian. She was appointed, not voted for, appointed by J.D. Vance. That is the problem with that vote.
I know,
okay, is people are so upset, you're raging, and all of this. The bill is already written. When they put it on the floor, it'll pass. Yeah, but when they put it on the floor, it will pass. Janet, when they put it on the floor, it will pass. Right?
Okay,
She's just, if they know a bill is going to pass, there's no big rush to do it. It's got to be done before the election.
How come J.D. Vance hasn't made her put it up there then?
Well,
he's been out saying pass the SAVE Act, just sitting by Trump saying the same thing. So you're saying that Vance is sabotaging Trump? Is that what you're saying?
Well, it sounds like that may be happening, but I won't accuse him of that. But it certainly has tones of not doing what the American people want. Donald Trump represents the American people. He's the first president we've had since Ronald Reagan who represented the will of the people. So if I wouldn't say he's undermining Trump, he's undermining the American people. Him and her. And with something, if it's going to pass and they know it's going to pass immediately, then put it on the floor and let them vote on it. That's all. But it's not that the Democrats aren't going to pass that.
I didn't think it worked that way, so I didn't realize that.
Yeah, that's the way parliamentary procedure works.
Well, I'm going to have to look into that and find out, I'll start making phone calls to Sarah Huckabee and ask her to please bring this up and find out why this isn't happening with our two senators in our state. How come
Senator Lee from Texas was on media outlets yesterday talking about it. And that's
Okay,
the first that anybody's ever heard of it. And so that's going to spread like wildfire because the people do get what they want. That's the one thing you can rest assured about in America. What the people want, we eventually get. We're willing to fight for what we want. And 80% of the people want that to pass. So I think you're supposed to choose your battles in life, and I think they're choosing the wrong battle right there.
Well, I hope that somebody does something because I think it's ridiculous. If that's the truth about that, then because I have heard Trump say something about not liking this parliamentarian, but he didn't say anything about if we can get rid of her, that will get to the floor. You know, he didn't say anything like that, and you'd think he would know because he's president. But let me go to this thing now. It says, this was interesting, I thought. This is a Senate Appropriation Committee, okay? And they've been doing gangbusters. I've been able to sit in and watch some of the stuff. It's pretty interesting, but it's just so hard because I got to mow my yard. I got shit I got to do just like anybody else. We have jobs. We have stuff that has to be done, and somebody's got to do it. So it doesn't just get done by itself. But it says Democrats laundered so much money before Donald Trump took office. In the 76-day period between Trump winning and Biden leaving office, $93 billion was sent from the DOE, who gave it away with no oversight, no entities, and no financials. The 76-day period you're talking about, this is the period between the time the president was elected and President Biden left office. How much taxpayer money went out the door of the Department of Energy from the loan program office in loans and commissions, $93 billion with a B, well over twice as much as the previous 15 years. That's amazing, isn't it?
So down here in Georgia, we had a real good investigative reporter up in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. Went after that heavyset black chick that ran for governor in Georgia. She got $2 billion directly from Biden, and she spent $100 on a license for this LLC, and she paid a friend of hers $50 to make a website. And there is no $2 billion to be accounted for anywhere. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's what we're dealing with in Georgia.
I know, but the thing is, this woman, what you're about to hear,
Stacey Abrams,
May 21st in 2025. But you got to remember, this information, this whole thing that she's talking about happened before Trump became president again. Okay. The Biden administration was shuffling money. That's why I never agreed with the whole thing with Ukraine ever, because to me, the whole thing was a money laundering thing. They were laundering money, and they had illegal biolabs over there. They were paying people out the wazoo with yours and my money and all these fake HOAs and whatever else. I mean, I'm sick of that. I want to see all these people all go to prison, every one of them, every single person that was involved in any fraud, that took any money that should have went to our veterans or any homeless people or anybody on any government services that they deserved, like people like my parents that paid taxes and then expected to get the different things that they were supposed to get from Social Security or whatever. Any person that did without because of these people, they should go to prison. Okay, that's how I'm seeing, because they're not going to be able to pay these people back. A lot of these people are dead because they didn't have the money to go to the doctor and get the treatments that they needed. Stuff like that. That's why I want to see these people punished, because people suffered because of it, and people are still suffering because of all the loss of money. And heck, what's really scary to me, which is great, but it's scary, the fact that after all this fraud and everything is all uncovered in the next 10 years or more, we might find out that we would have had a balanced budget, for many, many years, probably my whole life, all because of fraud. the only reason that we have an unbalanced budget is because of fraud. They spend it on everything except what they say they're going to spend it on. And we are paying in money that we shouldn't have to pay in because they're spending it on crap that we didn't pick or choose. And if we, the people, got to sign a paper every time we went in to get our check and say, okay, with this money, they're wanting this money for this, that, and the other for your state, and this money for the federal government. So which thing do you want your money to go to? And you make a little check mark somewhere saying you want money to go to the veterans and you want some money to go to the highway in your state. That's it. Those are the two things that you pick. That's it. That's the only thing you want to pay taxes on. Okay. And they have to spend the money on that because my state has a balanced budget amendment, which means my state can't spend money out of my pocket or their pocket, anyone in Arkansas, without appropriate stuff taken care of first to prove that budget. Okay. Why don't we have that for America? Why don't we have that in every single state? You see, that's what I'm talking about. People have things they need to do in your states to get your state ready so that it can take care of itself when the federal government collapses, things like that. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I just think way out in the future about what we need to have. But listen to this woman. It's pathetic that nothing ever happened to any of the people that were in the Biden administration when we already know these things, and we should start seeing these people. But that's why they have to have all these committees to get all the evidence so that we can take people to court. And yeah, it takes a long time, which just sucks, but it makes it suck for me as much as it's sucking for you. So we're all having to suffer. It's not just one or two people that are suffering. It's a lot of people. So here we go.
Mr. Secretary, I want to go back to some of your earlier testimony, be sure I heard it correctly. The 76-day period you're talking about, that's the period between the time that President Trump was elected and President Biden left office. Is that right?
That is correct.
And during that short period of time, 76 days, how much taxpayer money went out the door of the Department of Energy?
From the Loan Program Office in loans and commitments, $93 billion. Well over twice as much as in the previous 15 years. So,
how do you vet and do due diligence on a loan in 76 days? One loan, much less $93 billion. How do you do it?
I think it's probably pretty clear it wasn't done in many cases. As I mentioned, I'm told I'm holding back clearly in place stuff. There was lots of funds that have gone out the door and commitments that were made from businesses that provided no business plan, no numbers about their own financial solvency or how this project.
So you're telling me that the Department of Energy, in the 76-day period before their boss was going to leave office, gave or loaned money to entities that had no business plan?
Correct.
No financials?
Correct. A number of those were before the 76-day period as well. I've come in with great concern about how this institution, this great American institution, has been run and how American taxpayer money has been handled. I'm sorry everyone's upset that we're taking some time to do it, but what we've seen and what the record shows
I'm
is
not
just
upset. Could it be that a lot of people say you haven't returned your calls? Could it be that you and your colleagues have returned the calls, but the people calling just didn't like the answer? Could that be a possibility?
I'm not aware of that. You know, I give my cell phone number to any senator that wants
I know you
it,
do.
and I return my calls.
I mean, has your department gone dark? Somebody said your department's gone dark. Is it dark over there?
It doesn't look dark behind me.
I don't see any of you sitting on your hands. Somebody made that charge. I see everybody's hands. Let me ask you something else, Mr. Secretary. Does anybody ever come to the Department of Energy to get some of this free money and lie to you?
I have not experienced that, but I think it's a reasonable assumption that that has happened.
Does anybody ever come to you? Or is it conceivable that some of these folks that heard about this free money came to you with a half-baked idea?
I think it's very conceivable. In fact, I've seen such plans that were half-baked would be charitable.
That didn't have a business plan, right?
Correct. A promise to develop one, to find a location.
Just give me the money and I'll develop the plan later.
Correct.
And now you're going back through, not money that's already been contracted, but you're going back through and checking each one of these loans and these grants to make sure there was no stealing, aren't you?
We are.
We are. Make sure there was no incompetence, aren't you? Is that correct?
We're looking at that, and yeah, my blood pressure is rising right now just thinking about what we have seen and what did happen at the department.
And you're going to tell some of these boondoggles no, aren't you?
That's correct.
And they're going to be upset, aren't they?
That's correct.
And they ought to be upset, shouldn't they?
I don't think they should be upset. I think they should be ashamed.
It's rare that I'm speechless. But I want to be sure I understood. The people running the Department of Energy for President Biden's administration shoveled $93 billion, not million, $93 billion out the door in 76 days, and it just happened to be the time between when President Trump was elected and President Biden, their boss, was leaving. Is that right?
It is correct and distasteful. Confidence undermining.
My God. Look, I hope you take whatever time you need to go through all of these projects penny by penny. I mean, I've heard this testimony today. Well, it'll cost jobs in my state. If somebody steals $50 million and goes and spends the money in their state, that's going to stimulate the economy, isn't it?
Yes, it will.
But that's still stealing, isn't it? And it's still illegal, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, they were spending money at the Department of Energy like it was ditch water. Their budget went from $60 billion to $160 billion since fiscal year 2021. It just sounds to me like there were a lot of people coming to the Department of Energy who had all 4 feet and their snout in the trough. And I hope you'll turn down the boondoggles and refer the thieves to the Department of Justice.
We will indeed. Senator, the one complication in there, too, is mixed in there are good companies doing good things honestly with credible plans.
And you're trying to separate the wheat from the chaff.
Yes, that's what we're trying to do. That's our job, and we're doing it. But there's a lot of chaff.
Let me ask you one final question. Let me go back to how many employees you have. Now, there have been some allegations today that you've cut tens of thousands of employees. Is that accurate?
Well, I think the allegations were thousands, and our head count will ultimately be reduced by thousands, but we are doing it slowly.
You've got 16,000 now?
Yes.
And you think you can do it with fewer than 16,000?
Correct.
What's wrong with that?
I think it's just common sense business.
Yeah. Businesses do it every day in the real world.
American taxpayers deserve it.
That's never happened in the federal government. I mean, it's easier to divorce your spouse than to get rid of a federal employee up here. That's not the way the world works, is it, Mr. Secretary?
It's not the way the world should work. And I give enormous credit to President Trump, who had the boldness to say, if there's a right thing that needs to be done and it's difficult, please do it. And so, yes, this is new territory. This is not what happens normally in the federal government, but it is what needs to happen periodically in the federal government. And I give the credit to President Trump, who's willing to take the heat and has set the departments free. Make the changes you need to make to better serve American taxpayers and American consumers. And across his administration, that's what's being done.
All right. On that note, I just wanted to clear that up, Mr. Secretary, because I don't know you to be a person who doesn't return his phone call.
I was just shocked to listen to that whole thing back and forth. And you could see all of his employees sitting behind him while he was talking about the fraud they've been covered. Just like the people that were hired for Doge, right? They brought all these people in, and they took a ton of hate because they were finding fraud. Okay. They were finding more and more fraud, and all they got was hated on. So by the people that they were supposedly should be happy that they're saving money for the taxpayer, you know, they're finding people that were corrupt and were stealing from us. And now hopefully with the evidence that they're collecting, they'll be able to prosecute these people. Now, we're probably not going to get the money back, but at least it's not still going into the cookie jar anymore. It's staying in the account it's supposed to stay in. And it's just sad. We got so many people that hate the people that are trying to fix the problems, that it's totally lopsided. It does not make any sense. The only person that I know of that would be mad that you're putting the money back in the piggy bank would be the ones who were taking it out. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I just thought that was pretty sad. But Ruben, do you need to leave? Because you had said earlier that you might have to leave early.
Not right now. I'm good right now. I'm working on something.
Okay, I just wanted to ask because I know that was an 8-minute video, but I wanted to get it out because
it's fine.
It was real important that people got to listen to the
I'll let you know.
ridiculousness of what happened. But so okay, but this next one is very, very, very interesting, and it's about AI again. But I think it's important, and we definitely need to have people listen to this because I think it's very eye-opening.
So imagine you're sitting at home, mind your own business. You hear a knock on the door. Boom, boom, boom. So you walk over and answer it. And there's a couple armed cops. They have their guns out, pointed in your face. And they tell you that you have somehow been leaving your house in Tennessee, and you've been stealing money from a bank in Fargo, North Dakota. And because of that, you're now a fugitive. And they throw you in their cop car. They take you to North Dakota and they lock you up. Now, this is in October. And during the time that you're locked up, you can't post bail, by the way, because you're a fugitive and it's not allowed. So during the time that you're locked up, your attorney, they do their job and they prove your innocence. They prove that you've been sitting at home ordering Uber Eats from your couch for your grandkids. But for whatever reason, even though the police department is presented with that information, it takes them 3 months to release you. And then finally, in December, on Christmas Eve, they let you out. And remember, you were in Tennessee when you got locked up, and it was October. So when you get let out in North Dakota on Christmas Eve, you're in summer clothes and you're cold. And during the time that you were locked up, because you couldn't post bail, and everybody assumed you were a fugitive doing all the bad things they said that you were doing, robbing banks in North Dakota, you lost your job. You went broke and you lost your house. And you even lost your dog. And then the police department lets you out and you're freezing. You don't have any money and you have no place to stay and no way to get home. That is the reality that somebody recently faced. That is the reality of modern society. And the whole reason that you were thrown in jail is because artificial intelligence used facial recognition software and mass surveillance, and they got it horribly wrong. They matched somebody that was a fugitive that was stealing money from a bank in Fargo, North Dakota, with your face. What kind of dystopian nightmare are we living in? And there's a lot of problems with this. And I mean, obviously, there's a lot of problems with this, but the fact that the police department didn't do their due diligence and make sure that this person was actually the person robbing money from the bank, they didn't make sure that it was somebody that had actually traveled to North Dakota before going to their house and arresting them. They didn't verify all this information before locking this poor person up. And because of that, this person lost everything and is now stuck in North Dakota on Christmas Eve with no way to get home. Now, luckily, in this particular case, the defense attorneys in Fargo paid for this person's hotel on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and a local nonprofit actually bought them a plane ticket home. But the state and the people that booked this poor person did nothing. They didn't even issue an apology. This is crazy, y'all. This is crazy. And I'm really kind of worried that that is where society is headed, because AI is quickly becoming the "did you Google it" of modern society. If you remember Google when it first came out, if there was a claim that was made, it was always, did you look it up on Google and did you confirm it? That is what AI is basically becoming, because AI is now, for a lot of people, becoming the be all end all. If AI says it's wrong, then it must be wrong. And if AI tells you something, that's gospel. And if you think about this, this is basically, people are almost treating AI like a religion. Like, if it says this thing, it must be true. There's no other way around it. It has to be this way because AI said so. And the fact that a police department looked at AI in that way, and they took AI and what it said at face value and ran with that without doing their own research first, that is baffling to me. And I feel like we might actually be approaching the level of idiocracy right now, where people just use AI to do all the thinking for them, and critical thought and logic and doing your own research basically goes out the window. And at that point, what kind of society are we living in? Is it even a society that's based around the people at all? Because at that point, AI is doing all the thinking for us. So I would say that if that actually happens, which seems like the direction we're headed, we'll be living in an artificial reality.
We'll be living in the Matrix. So have you guys seen that video?
I haven't seen it, but I've seen that story a dozen times.
No, I heard about it. No.
Okay. Well, the thing is that we got to really start making sure that we know what we have when we have something, or we think we have something, before you put all your eggs in that basket. Basically, is what he was trying to say. Because I don't have multiple videos, tons and tons of videos of different men and women being accused of crimes when they didn't leave. And there was this one I showed, I think it was last Friday before last, we showed that one video of the woman who the cops came to her house and they said it was her driving this truck and doing all this different stuff. And if she hadn't been at her friend's at the time that this supposedly happened, and her friend didn't have that Ring doorbell to prove that she was there and what time she was there, she would have been through the whole thing what you just saw this guy was talking about. So it's sad that she had to use AI from one place to protect her from another place that they were accusing her for. And they're very rude and obnoxious to her, the whole thing anyways. So just people, just be careful, because, start paying a little bit more attention to where you are and who's around you and things like that, in case you have to prove where you are, because facial recognition software or one of those, I don't remember what it was called again, these cameras that they're putting here and there, flock camera, I think is what they're calling them, that are just showing up.
Flock cameras, yeah.
Yeah, everywhere. It seems like more and more of them are just popping up somewhere. So I just wanted to share that. Do you guys have anything you want to say about that before I go to the next thing?
No, I'm good.
What
Yeah,
about
I'm
you?
good. I'm good
Okay.
on that.
All right. Well, I only have two. Let's see. Yeah, two more things, and then I'll be down. But this one I thought was very interesting because this woman, that's what she does. She's a constitutional expert, and she argues about the Supreme Court justices can face impeachment by the president and Congress over alleged corruption or abuse. And she tries to explain it, and she's really, really analytical. But I just wish I was as smart as this lady. But definitely not. But she's good. So here we go. I think this is it. It's turned blue, so it's kind of hard for me to tell what the picture is behind it. Yeah, here we go. Gotta get it.
We've got 5 minutes. If you would, please make sure your green light is on and then state your name and title for the record. Thank you.
It is on. My name is Publius Hulda. I'm a retired litigation attorney, and I write on the original intent of the Constitution using the Federalist Papers. I do not go by Supreme Court opinions because for 200 years, the Supreme Court has been ignoring the Federalist Papers and the Constitution our framers given, and they have gone off on tangents of their own which have nothing to do with the Constitution. The Attorney General's opinion begs the question. He states that states can't nullify acts of the federal government which are authorized by the Constitution, but then he completely fails to cite article, section, and verse, a clause, where the Constitution delegates to Congress authority to restrict our arms. When we ratified the Constitution, we created the federal government. We listed, enumerated every power we granted to our creature, the federal government. Article 1, Section 8, Clauses 1 through 16 lists most of the powers we delegated to Congress for the government, for the country at large. We didn't put on our list that our creature could restrict our arms. We didn't delegate this power to Congress because our framers wanted the American people to be heavily armed. Alexander Hamilton and James Madison write about this in the Federalist Papers. In Federalist Paper number 46, James Madison writes, why the American people are armed. It is so we can defend ourselves, our communities, and our states from the federal government in the event it becomes tyrannical and oversteps the constitutional limits on its powers. In Article 1, Section 8, Clause 16, pursuant to that, Congress passed the Militia Act of 1792, where they required every able-bodied male citizen between the ages of 18 and 46, except for federal officers and employees, to buy a rifle, ammunition, and report to their local militia for training. Pursuant to Article 1, Section 8, Clause 11, Congress is authorized to issue letters of marque and reprisal. This is what authorizes private warships to make war on our enemies. These were the privateers who fired on British ships during the War of 1812. Our framers contemplated a people who were heavily armed. That is why we never delegated to our creature authority to restrict our arms in any fashion whatsoever. And when the federal government attempts to do so, they are usurping powers which they do not possess. The Attorney General goes by court opinions, not the Constitution. There is a vast gulf between the two. We have 200 years of Supreme Court opinions, and Mr. Chairman very kindly shared some of these 200 years of Supreme Court opinions, which have nothing to do with the Constitution. Charles Evans Hughes said over 100 years ago, the Constitution means what the judges say it means. That has been the prevailing dogma ever since, and generations of lawyers have been indoctrinated with this lie. That is why we no longer have a federal government which is held down by the chains of the Constitution. What we have is ruled by five judges on the Supreme Court who claim the power to do whatever they want to us and our country. So today we have two opposites, what the Constitution says and what the Supreme Court says. Well, your oath of office requires you to obey the Constitution, not the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is merely a creature of this Constitution and is completely subject to its terms. My third point, the AG asserts that the that the Supreme Court is the exclusive and final authority on the extent of the powers of the federal government. But our framers knew that Supreme Court judges were as likely as anybody else to be corrupt, usurp powers, and act lawlessly. So Congress, the President, and the states all have checks on the Supreme Court. Hamilton shows in Federalist number 81 that Congress's check on lawless federal judges is to impeach them and remove them from office. The President has his oath of office as a check on the Supreme Court. The President's oath is to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution. It is not to obey the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court was not set up in our Constitution as the superior branch of the federal government. And then there's no need for me to, Madison says in his report on the Virginia resolutions that it is a plain principle founded in common sense that the states, as the sovereign parties to the Constitution, are the final authority on whether the federal government has violated the Constitution, and that the states may check all three branches of the federal government, not just, they may check the judiciary, the executive, and the legislative branches by nullifying their acts. If the judicial branch connives with other branches in usurping powers, our Constitution will be destroyed if we do not stop them. This is what James Madison said in his notes on nullification, in his report on the Virginia resolution. I'm sorry I didn't have time to finish. I hope that during questions, someone will ask me about the so-called nullification crisis of 1832.
Thank you very much for your comments.
She was, everything that she went through, because that's all she does, is study the Constitution and how the Federalist Papers, figure all that out, straighten it all out to help her know whether or not the Supreme Court is ruling based on the Constitution or not. Sorry, just give me a second. Getting a dry spot in my throat. Gotta get a drink. Just give me a second. Oh my goodness. Sorry, my allergies get really bad at late, start getting late at night. But I wanted you to hear that because I've heard a lot of people talking about Amy Coney Barrett having issues with a lot of things that she's been dealing with her family, insecurity purposes, with her kids and things like that. Sorry, I got a dry spot in my throat. But if we need to get rid of one of our Supreme Court justices, that our president and our Congress can do so if they feel they need to. Because remember, she's only in her 50s, right? So she could be on there for a lot longer. And if we feel that she's compromised because of fear for her or her family, she might be making decisions that are wrong and not following the Constitution. So I wanted to bring that up because she was the one person I was able to find that was talking about the exact thing that I was trying to find answers for, about how to remove a Supreme Court justice. So that's one reason why I wanted to play it. So I have to give you some context on it. I'm sorry about my voice. It's so dry in there for some reason, even though I've been drinking. But the last thing I had, I wanted to read it, but now I'm not going to get to because my voice. Just give me a second. Oh gosh, my throat. Okay. Well,
it's kind of ironic that you just played that because that's called a convention of states. Mm-hmm. And that's basically what caused the Civil War.
Yeah, I know. That's why. But the thing is, it's about the reason I was looking for it was because of all the people talking about Amy Coney Barrett and that they feel that she's compromised to where she's not ruling based on the Constitution anymore. She's leaning more and more, because just by the way that she reacts to Trump when he's in the room, stuff like that, like she despises him, and if she's gonna, and he's the reason she's even on the Supreme Court. You know what I mean? So I wanted to find something to help give an answer to the people about how do we get rid of somebody that's on there for life, that kind of thing. She has to die. And I'm like, no, she doesn't. If she's doing something and they all feel that she's compromised and she's not performing her duties, that maybe they could get rid of her that way. Hold on. Yeah, I know, but now we know that there is a way to remove people that are not following the Constitution when they make their rulings. So, and even what was it? Clarence Thomas has made a couple things about why he feels that some of these answers are not the right ones, and they also try to give us information on when you come back to see us again on this issue, lean towards this, that, or the other to help them find the right answer the next time they come, and the right way to ask the questions. So I think that's important. But one of the things I wanted to talk about, if I can do this or not with my throat being so messed up, was that after the speech that we watched yesterday, I just wanted to make a comment on how I felt the speech went, from my own personal opinion. But it says what I liked about the president's speech last night was that instead of trying to convince people of anything, I felt like he was trying to tell us Americans to go look for ourselves at the documents and make our own decisions for what we thought the problem was, and whether or not we would be able to get the states to fix it. Because it's basically us having to talk to the people in our states, because if we don't fix it, how are we ever going to have honest elections? And I've sat and counted until almost 2:00 in the morning ballots. I've worked in 2 states, in Louisiana and Arkansas, and it's us doing it. It wasn't a machine that was doing it. It was the people sitting around tables counting ballots. Okay. Which means if you have enough people, you can count them in one day. It doesn't have to take months or weeks to count ballots. It doesn't matter how many people you have. Other countries do it, and they're in worse shape than we are when it comes to electronics and things like that. But I just felt like after the 2020 election, a lot of us talked about how we felt that there was cheating going on. And a lot of us believe that January 6th was a setup to get Mike Pence to accept all the states' ballots to get the Electoral College votes where they needed them, because there were states that were there asking to them not to accept their ballots yet, or their Electoral College votes, because they felt there was election interference, right? And they had a bunch of people there with documentation or whatever trying to plead their case, yet he denied every one of them. See, that was kind of scary to think about. Remember the hanging chads in Florida, and there's been many times where people have had problems with it, but the whole thing there was just so much videos that were out, and people showing how the numbers went from this many numbers, and all of a sudden they were all opposite. They swapped like that, like it was done. It just didn't seem right. There was things that we didn't think were legal, that it just looked wrong, especially to people like me that have worked the polls, and then after we were talking about it, then start getting all the hate, for people that just said that Trump is a spoiled brat. He just got a huge head and can't believe that he lost. It was tons of stuff. And you're stupid that you got your head up his ass. Just tons and tons of shit like that. And now, after last night, we got to see that he was sending, that this administration was sending all this truth that China was involved and other nefarious entities were involved in cheating and hacking into our election systems with help from people, because they couldn't just do it with no help. Okay, so I believe that there's help, and they're sending all this stuff, this proof, not ideas or thinking that it happened, actual evidence that this happened. Okay, so we're being proven right, just like I was proven right about the vaccine and why I didn't take it. And people were telling me that I was trying to kill people because I wouldn't get my shot, that I should just shut up and take my shot, that people like me shouldn't get medical care, that I should be denied care because I wouldn't get a shot. And I kept saying, it doesn't make any sense. If you got jabbed up thinking that's going to save you, then why would I get you sicker? How could I get you sicker if I had the disease that you're supposed to be vaccinated against? They wouldn't listen to common sense, but they attacked me daily. And then when they started finding out the truth about the vaccines, I never hounded them for it and said, oh, you should put all these people in camps. They shouldn't get medical treatment. I never treated anybody bad because of it. I tried to help people to find ways to get rid of the spike protein, to do things like that. Same thing with elections. Please go work the polls so that you don't have to have machines. Because if you have people, you don't have to have machines to count. And then they can't cheat. Even though they say it's not on the internet, well, it's on the internet. If the numbers are flipping, the numbers are changing. And the fact that you have millions more ballots than you have people that are registered to vote. That's impossible. And anyone that could look at me with a straight face and say that that's impossible, that I was full of shit when I say, well, you can't have hundreds of more ballots than we handed out. If I only handed out 100 ballots, how can you be giving me 200 votes to count? It's ridiculous. None of it made any sense. There's no common sense involved. But the fact that I'm getting tons of hate because of it, because of my point of view on this whole thing, is sad. And I don't think it's going to stop. Because once they're caught with their pants down, because they're being proven that they were wrong, that there was cheating, and that the vaccines were a bioweapon or whatever you want to call it, they don't want to admit that they're wrong. Just like I showed earlier in the show, how not a single Democrat showed up to hear about all the fraud they found, because they're all taking money. The only thing that makes any sense is the fact that you don't want to go to be proven that you're a criminal, that you're a crook. Just like a murderer wouldn't stand there with his hands all bloody, admitting that he's the murderer, right? They're not going to show up. They're going to hide. That's what they do. And I just wanted to voice my opinion about it. I thought the speech was wonderful, and it was humbling to see Trump getting to talk about evidence finally about what he felt and he knew a lot of the night of in 2020 when he was it was stolen, basically. So the thing is that when all this stuff started coming out, he believed it, but nobody wanted to believe it. Nobody wanted to prove it. Even people in his own party said he was a crybaby and that he made it all up and it wasn't true. Just like the PP dossier and all the other shit that's been proven truthful. Hillary Clinton's campaign paid for that documentation. And she's a crook. She's a disgusting pig that I can't wait to see one day go to prison for her part in all of this mess, because it all connects. You know, people believed the crap, so they didn't vote. They thought it was all, there was no one to vote for, because I don't want to vote for Hillary Clinton, and I don't want to vote for, the other guy, because he's got a big head and a big mouth. But all of this stuff, for all of these years that we've been getting all this fraud, all the lies, all the stuff, and this evidence is coming out more and more and more, but yet they still don't want to believe it. They don't even show up. They have empty seats everywhere. Nobody wants to admit that they were wrong, that they did anything wrong. And they don't want their name associated with anything that has to do with the fraud. So they just don't show up. How is that help? If you voted for those people, any of these people that were involved in any of this or are being suspected of it, tell them to stand up for themselves if they're innocent. If they're innocent, they should be there saying they want to see who the guilty party is if this money's been stolen. With Minnesota, I mean, look at all that. The $10 billion in one county in California for Medicaid fraud. You know, we're all paying for it. So if you paid for it, why wouldn't you want to see these people punished? Where are all the people that are upset about the fraud? This is what I'm trying to find out. All the fraud during the elections, all the fraud with the money, your tax dollars that you worked and sweated your ass off to earn, and they took it out of your thing and saying that you're going to have to put some of it back into the government, and hopefully you get a little bit, a tiny amount of money each month when you retire for Social Security. And then you're told, oh, there's not going to be any money when you retire. Why? Because of all this fraud, but yet you don't want to catch these people? You don't want to see the evidence? I just don't understand it. I really don't. And I just wish more people would want to know the truth and actually go to these different websites and read it. Look at it yourself. Go to the Epstein files and read. There's tons of video on there. There's audio files. There's emails. There's tons and tons and tons of evidence. And yes, some of it's redacted. Why? Because there's freaking victims involved, people. Why do you need to know the victim? Why do you need to know about the maid that was there? Why do you need to know about the guy that cleaned the pool? If they weren't involved and the victims have said who was involved, their names are on there. Okay. I don't understand. Listen to the victims. If you really want to know the truth about the Epstein stuff, listen to the interviews with the victims. It's that simple. But you don't want to do that. You just want to bitch and moan about it, because that makes you feel big, I guess. Because when all of this stuff is cleaned up, you're going to have nothing to talk about anymore, because you didn't do anything to help. All you did was complain. So what are you going to complain about once all this stuff is cleaned up? What kind of life are you going to have? It's going to be pretty boring, isn't it? So I just wanted to get this off my chest, because I have been attacked since I started doing this shit show, simply because I've tried to share truthful information with you. One time I remember somebody sent me something and said that what I had played was wrong. And when I went back, and I apologized for it. I'm not a pro. I'm not a journalist. I'm just an American. I'm a military brat. And I'm just trying to get the truth out for people to read. And I tell you all, I put all the links in the chat, and I say, please go look for yourself. Go read the stuff. Find out more. Follow the people's videos that I shared if you're interested in what they have to say. They have a lot more stuff on their websites. I'm not trying to take their credit, because I'm not the one that did the work to investigate it. They did. That's why I'm sharing it with you. So, and if you don't like what I have to say, go to the next channel. You don't have to even listen. It's not going to kill me. I'm not making any money off of it. So I just want you to have a chance to find out the truth if you can, if you're interested in it. If you're not, then I don't know why you're even listening to me now, honestly. But I'm sorry, I went on a rant again, but I feel better. I feel like I got a little bit off my chest, and I was really proud of our president yesterday doing what he did, because he's really doing it for our country. I really do believe that. Everything he's done, it seems like he's trying to do the best he can with what he has. He's having to do almost everything with executive orders because he has lame ass senators that won't get off their ass and do their job. And that's why you and I in our states have to hound our senators and tell them to get off their ass and vote for the SAVE Act, because we want elections where only American citizens can vote in them. If we wanted them to vote from Somalia, then we would go to Somalia and make them vote. See what I mean? Let them go to their own country. Don't let them vote here. So that was it. I feel better. So do you have anything you want to say before we close? Ruben, you made it through the night. You did good.
Well, yeah, I was doing something here because next week I might not be here. I'm going to the funeral. I'm going to the funeral. So if I am, I'll be at a hotel up in Minnesota doing it. But it's I wanted to share with you at least the two of the. That's what I was doing right now. Basically, what I did is I wrote a eulogy and a poem, and I wanted to share it. It's on Substack right now, so I'm going to share the link so you can all see it. Yeah, so I can grab that really quickly here, because again, it's important, because again, how'd you say it? You don't know how much time you have in your life. You don't know. You don't know how things can change really quickly. Things can get out of sight and very quickly. Let me just share the first. Let me copy the link to the first one, and then I'll put it in the private and you can share it.
Okay.
And then I'll get the second one I just did. So what I did is I did a eulogy. It's very, very, I like it. It's very special. And then the next one is a grand epic poem I wrote. It's the last thing I did.
I'm gonna. Do you want me to pull it up or share it in the?
You can share it in private, and not in the private. You could share it with everybody, and I could pull it up, but but it's just, it's something that I'm doing right now, because it's basically my former girlfriend who was staying with me. I was taking care of her. She got very ill, and she was only 43 years old, and she passed away. And she passed away on May 8th, and it's tragic, because I was taking care of her and I thought she was going to recover, but she didn't. She just passed away, and it was just very, very young, and it's sad. So but I did. But please, go out there. I put it on my free Substack. The both posts. Make sure they're both there.
I'm putting both of them in there right now.
Yeah. And just go out there and read. I'm going to make them private, next week. But right now, I want everyone to read it. I'm going to put it out there so we're going to read it, because this is something I wrote this, right after he passed away. I've been holding it back. I did share it with the family, but now I'm putting it here on Substack, because it's an important, aspect of it. It's a beautifully written eulogy and a beautifully written. It's a crown of sonnets. Actually, 3 crowns of sonnets. Yes. Yeah. And basically and the thing is that was actually her request. She said to me, if I die, I want that to be my epitaph. Here lies a walking contradiction. And that's
so young. 43 is really young.
She was so sweet too.
Yeah. So then basically, you read it. It's and the way I wrote it, it's backwards, it's forwards, it has comedy in it, because it's a celebration of life we're having on Saturday. I'm going to be up there Saturday in a small town outside of Minneapolis for for the service. And then the second one is a large grand poem I wrote. It's actually 45 sonnets, all connected. So that's the second post I did. So
okay,
it's called
I'm going to real quickly. I'm going to get on my X real quick, and I want to share it on my X.
Yeah.
So just give me 1 second. I'm slow.
And then
Yeah.
this photo that she actually took, this photo was, you know, just recently she did this with her children, and
Mhm.
and she was happy, and I thought she was gonna be fine, and then it just, you know, it went terribly wrong for her. But
Mhm.
just remember her, keep her and her kids in her thoughts. Her kids are just 14 and 12. You know, very very young. Yeah, so it's sad, you know. But yeah, I know it's terrifying. And then she basically went into the hospital May 4th, and then she passed away May 8th. So it was very very fast. Sorry, May 5th. May 4th, she basically gave me her ex-husband's number, which she had never given to me,
Yeah.
and call him immediately if something goes wrong, and it did. So I called him. So that's her kids.
Oh, I was trying to get my thing to scroll, but I can't do it very slow. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful. You did a wonderful job.
Right. And then basically I put down here, it's this, and it's the poem. It's written there. You can read it. It's comedy. It's life. It's love. It's sadness. It's a lot of stuff, and it's long because again, it's a eulogy, and I basically put that I actually the very ending they gave me a memento. They gave us her sister herself. They gave us the last heartbeats that she had. So the very, very last thing that you see is her final heartbeats that I put there. I put and some of these poems I wrote this one, I wrote that one. But the very, very end, if you scroll all the way down, it's going to be her heartbeat. And that's what I did there.
Okay. I was just looking at that. Oh.
Yeah. And that's her last thing, and she passed away officially 10:58. They called it at 11:08 in the morning on May 8th. So she passed away. And then the second one, the second post that's out there now is a grand, you know, crown of sonnets, 45 sonnets. A sonnet crown is 15, so I did 3 of them and it represents each of her years. So it's all done. You're really good. So that's where I'll be. You know, I've been dealing with, you know, getting rid of her stuff. I have her clothes you have to get rid of, you know. That's the one thing that happens is like, I was there. My mother passed away in 2012. My father passed away in 2020. My wife passed away in 2019. And now I have this loss in 2026. So I've already had 4 people that have passed away. And I've actually have done, you know, what I call it again, the memorialization on Facebook for 3 people: my mother, my wife, and now Danelle. So it's just a lot to go through. 3 people pass away, 3 women who have impacted my life to go away so quickly, and it's a sad tragedy. But we have to remember, and if you read it again, and I invite you both to read it too, and it'll make you laugh. This one will make you laugh. Because basically it's supposed to have some levity, it's supposed to have some happiness, but there are 3 distinct poems in this one. There is the eulogy, there is a soliloquy, and then there is a villanelle at the very end. And the villanelle is very, very good. I like it. Yeah, I could read it to you now if you wanted to, but you know, it's very, very short. It's a villanelle. This villanelle is like if you ever heard do not go gentle into that good night. That's a villanelle.
Yeah.
It's a short. It's just it has a
you can read it if you want. If you want to read
I'll read the villanelle. It's the last thing I wrote in that first. It's very, very short. I could read it to you very quickly. Let me pull it up real quick. I mean, I can share. I can pull this up and share it so everyone can see this, and I'll read it to you.
Okay, well, let me close this one.
Let me share the screen real quickly.
Okay.
And let me share this, and then here is the villanelle. It's
Which
right
one?
here.
That one, okay.
Can you see? This is the villanelle.
Yeah.
And the villanelle is: shadows now dim before your unyielding light. The tempest past, your soul no lore astray. In the dark, the piercing silence of night. My sweet contradiction, fractured and delight, Rest your troubled soul, for upon this day shadows now dim before your unyielding light. My darling, you no longer need to fight. Rest your worn soul, the terror falls away in the dark, piercing silence of night. You slip from my embrace into twilight. I miss you still, my pulse still falls in disarray. Shadows now dim before your unyielding light. Guide me through the ache, for you burn bright. What remains in me is love that learns to stay in the darkness, piercing silence of night. My radiant one, linen bound in white, I close my eyes, your face returns in gray. Shadows now dim before our unyielding light in the dark, piercing silence of night. That's a villanelle.
That's beautiful.
And that's the smallest, that's the shortest one. I have a long one here, the 24 lot point of light, and then I have this grand one right here. Mm-hmm. And then what I have also is, the one I didn't share, or the one I shared, this is called the Nested Grave, and it is long. It's 45 sonnets, and it's all here. Sonnets 1 through 15. 1 through 15, all of this, and it's a long thing. And then the next group, and then that goes down, and then the next group goes here. The final group.
Are you going to present this at the service?
Yes, I'll present it, but I won't read it. I'll give it to them, and then that's how it ends. It ends like this, so that's how it works. And I put my table on here, but that's how it works.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. You did a wonderful.
That's what you
job.
do, and that's a thing. You basically have to honor those people that passed in your life and all that stuff. So that's important. So that's where I'll be. So if things all work out okay, I will be on next Friday. But if there's technical difficulties, I won't. So we'll see. Okay. But I'm going to I'm spending the weekend.
Well, I'll send you a link, and hopefully everything goes great for you. And
yes.
Really sorry.
It's sad. Yeah, I know. It's sad. I'm still going through a lot. I'm basically I have to get rid of. She has a TV, a bed. She has bags of clothes. I got to get rid of and get to Goodwill. I've got so much.
Her children don't want any of those things.
I reached out to her ex-husband, and he has not contacted me. If I go there and they should be there, then I'll let them. Hey, do you want this or whatever? Because I got books. I got their things. Not a lot of things, just a few things.
Yeah,
they had But she has not contacted me, and I've contacted the sister, and then I have things that I have to give. She was an organ donor. I have the gift of hope medallion. I have to give them back, and stuff. But they came here and took some stuff already. The day that she passed away, they came here after she passed away to pick up her things. So they did take a lot of stuff, but there's still a lot of stuff here to get rid of. So I got to do that. So, and that's what I'm saying. This is my last task to do. I wrote these poems. These are the last things I need to do. So I'm moving on with my life next. That's the next phase of my life. I have to move on and do that, because I'm continuing my weight loss journey. Also, I'll be putting videos online. I was at 397 at the beginning of the month. I'm down to 372. So I've lost 20 pounds in about a few days, a couple of weeks.
Well, you're under so much stress too that really can help.
Yes, So it's been rough. So I've been doing that. I've been trying to sleep early, but I lay down and I can't sleep. It's hard because it's memories and stuff like that. But it is what it is. But we're here. Things are going to go good.
Bless your heart.
Yes.
But thank you for joining me this evening.
Yep.
But thank you both for hanging out with me tonight and letting me do my rant at the end.
Oh, no.
I messed up big time because I kept losing my concentration on what I wanted to say. But I basically got out everything I wanted to say about how you're going to get, you're not going to be people that were treated you really bad, said you were stupid, or because you believed in Trump this or Trump that. They're not going to apologize to you. So don't expect anything. Don't expect them to ever say they're sorry for being dickheads to you, because they're not going to. So just get over that and realize that don't expect to hear that from any of these people, because a lot of them still aren't even going to admit any of this stuff happened or is real. So be ready for that too.
Yep.
So, but thank you, Chris, for helping tonight, and Ruben, I really appreciate it. And thank you everyone who hung out with us tonight, and on Rumble and on X and on YouTube. I really appreciate it. And you guys have a wonderful evening, and have a great
night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Woo!
American COVID-19 vaccine deaths, it ranges from about 470,000 from Pfizer alone up to 840,000 American deaths from the COVID-19 vaccines. We have to remember that that is rivaling the American soldier death toll of World War I, World War II, Vietnam, and the Iraq War combined.